Oh, welcome back, everybody, to the Dusty Bender podcast. I am one of your hosts, Chance Watson. With you, as always, Aaron. Taylor is absent at the moment. We'll get him. He just got released. He got rearrested, and he's out on parole. He's being driven back from the prison. We'll see him here in a little bit. But we actually have somebody else for our very special 150th episode. Lindsay Macy, how the hell are you?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, we are doing absolutely. We're at 150, so this is probably like, we could probably end the show after this one. Honestly, it's been going on for a while now, and I don't know. Maybe when we get to 250, we'll maybe hit stardom and make some money off of it. But in the meantime, it's just a bunch of knuckleheads talking hockey. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope Taylor can get back and get out of jail and everything can be and you can get on here for this 150th show.
I think so, man. That guy just can't stay out of prison. It's terrible. I think it's mostly prostitution based. Not getting. He is the prostitute. Like he's not hiring hookers. He is the hooker.
You got to pay bills somehow, man. You know.
Man's got to eat. You know.
Inflation comes for us all, really. So.
Hey, that's definitely true. The years are tough. Real quick, we got to pay some bills. We got to give quick shout outs here to the Hub Tavern out in Spokane, Washington. Hub Tavern is the premier hockey bar in Spokane on Monroe. Part of the Anchor Alliance, means they're officially affiliated with the Seattle Kraken. Go on in there. It's cash only, so make sure you're bringing those Benjamins. Go on in there, have a beer, say hi to Dave and Mona, and watch some hockey. Probably the best place in the Inland Northwest to go watch hockey, especially with the Stanley Cup Final going up. That place is going to be nuts. So, especially with hometown boy Derek Ryan in the Stanley Cup Final, of all people. So go on in there, check out the Hub Tavern, and watch some playoff hockey. Also, right down the road, you've got Monterey Cafe with Jeff and the other folks there, running a fantastic, awesome karaoke and pizza bar. Go on in there and have an absolute blast. Who doesn't love singing their heart out, having some drinks, and then throwing down some awesome pizza? It's the best. So go on in there, have some fun at Monterey, just right down the street in downtown Spokane. Not literally down the street. Hop, skip, and a jump from the Hub Tavern in Spokane. And also, we got to shout out longtime listener, longtime supporter, Fire Chief John Miller. It's coming around the season. So if I'm gonna make up a fire tip here because he didn't give me one. So how about this? When you're driving down the freeway, don't flick your cigarette butts out, because that'll start a forest fire, and then John's gonna have to save your ass, and we don't want that.
Yeah,
guy's already a hero. We don't need to add any more stars to his belt. He's already too upset with the Nashville Predators getting eliminated. So.
But now we get to see UC Saros and all those commercials, you know. So that's something.
Yeah. There is that. No, oh God, Linz, have you been watching? How many? So you're not watch? Are you watched any playoff hockey at all?
A little bit here and there.
Okay, yeah. So you've been subjected to like the same 4 hockey commercials over and over and over, just like the rest of us.
Yeah, beaten to death with what a pro wants. You know
what a pro wants. That one's terrible. I feel like they stopped doing that for a little bit. And then they introduced, so they started hitting us with the UC Saros one, where he's just like staring deadpan at the camera going, no goals.
Mm-hmm.
And fun fact for that commercial, that's not even scripted. Like, that's just UC Saros.
Yeah.
Like, he just stares deadpan in the locker room. And when they talk to him, he's just like, no goals.
That's no sane person signs up to be a goalie. They're all weird in their own way, right? So,
that's been my experience. Between Linz and us, we've got a decent amount of hockey experience. So, I would definitely say that.
I don't know if I've ever met a normal goalie.
No, I've never met a goalie where it's like, oh, you're like a well-adjusted human being. It's like, no, they're all weird in their own way.
Holy shit. No, I haven't either. Gotta be completely honest with you. Oh my God. Look at there he is. There's the guy.
Dude.
Hey.
You won't believe the day I just had.
I know. We were just explaining to the listeners and Lindsay that you got picked up on your second prostitution charge.
Yeah,
Not
Sting
getting hookers, but being the hooker.
well, that's better, right? Like, it's
Right.
better be making that money.
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
You're an entrepreneur.
That's right. You gotta put your money to work, right?
That's right. That's where
Uh,
literally.
Literally.
So we burned through all the ads. We were just talking about hockey commercials and how goalies are weird. Pretty classic stuff for the Dusty Bender podcast. But listen, probably the biggest news going on right now. Eminem's back, folks.
Back again.
I hear Shady is back, and we should tell a friend.
Sure. That sounds right.
Lindsay, like 90% of the show is just Aaron shaking his head. So you'll kick on pretty quick. No, I have been listening to Houdini fairly often as I scroll through Twitter and look at all the hockey news that's going on in the world.
Sure.
Have you heard this? Have you heard this song, Taylor?
Well, I mean, I have. Yeah, I would be lying if I didn't just listen to it twice in traffic on the way home. But
okay, that's fair. That's
yeah, that makes me a degenerate, though, I think.
Yeah, millennials and Gen Xers rejoice, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Lindsay Macy, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It sounds like I do a
Good.
little bit better than you.
Well, yeah. Don't work in Seattle and live an hour and a half south of there. It's
That's-
just not.
Yeah, don't have to deal with I-5 a couple times a week, you know?
Oh.
That's the real life advice.
It sure
Yeah,
sucks.
that's not good.
Yeah.
Traffic
Where are you at, right? You're somewhere.
I'm in Minnesota coaching at a D3 school called the College of St. Benedict.
Right on.
Hey,
Yes.
shout out to St. Benedict. There we go.
St.
sweet.
Ben's. The
Yeah.
Bennies.
You got any
Pennies.
sweet merch you could send us? We could wear on the pod.
There you
I
go.
mean, I can find you some.
Hell yeah.
You know?
We'll see if we can find you some.
Yes. All right. We've got our D3 school now that we're gonna cheer for.
There you go. I like it.
Hey,
That's
I'll
right.
put it on the wall. I got
There
room.
you go. Defend
Hell yeah.
the
Yeah.
deep. See?
Yeah,
The official Division 3 school of the Dusty Bender podcast.
hell yeah.
That's right.
I love it.
That's
Love
right.
it.
We have some patron saints on the show that we like to always call out to every once in a while. We're very picky about the teams and the people that we like to throw into our Hall of Fame.
That's right.
You gotta be. We especially like to pick players that do one thing really well, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Michael Grabner has had lots of spotlight on this show for doing one thing really well. So
That's right.
Gotcha.
Hell
All
yeah. What are we working on today?
Well, Taylor, I don't know if you know this, but the Stanley Cup playoffs are going on right now.
Not right.
Yeah,
now.
We're in the midst of it because everybody needed a week break, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong here. This is like in terms of miles traveled, this is like the longest distance ever.
Is it 2,000 plus miles?
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Oh, it's something crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, but pour one out for all the poor hockey writers that are going to have to fly to watch these games, you know,
God.
and mostly for us who have to watch them complain on Twitter about their travel
They're
experience.
going to. It's gonna happen. Like,
Oh, yeah,
I had to get
100%.
2 layovers.
Yeah. Oh no, my flight got delayed. Oh no.
I had
It's
to
like,
sit
oh
in the
man, you mean you're the job that you signed up that had travel in it?
right.
Huh, weird. Okay.
You had to sit in the airport bar at 10 a.m. and get day drunk.
like-
What a terrible
what a-
life.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
It's funny you say that though, Lindsay. So I was thinking, someone brought it up too. They said, wasn't Vancouver to Boston longer? But technically, no. 'Cause I was thinking that was 2011. I was thinking
Yeah,
that one was longer, but yeah, no, this is
Oh,
the
wait.
furthest one.
Edmonton's way the hell up there. It's like digging
Yeah,
the
it's
Arctic
crazy.
Circle.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, oh, it's insanity.
Isn't Edmonton in Alaska? Is it up there? Right, Taylor?
I mean, there's enough Oilers fans up there.
Okay. Yeah. Like Anchorage and Edmonton, that's like a 20-minute drive, right?
Yeah, they're buddies.
Okay.
It's the twin cities of the like way north. That's what I was told.
All right. We'll call both the mayors and see if we can get like a city sisters thing going.
I'm sure they would love that. Yeah.
I'm sure the obscure hockey podcast managing two cities and their relations. I love that.
Yeah.
So yes, we've got the Stanley Cup Finals coming up starting on Saturday. But before we dig into our picks and whatnot, we have some postmortems, some obituaries to do on the teams that just got knocked out. We were right on one, and we were wrong on the other. And
I was wrong on both.
Oh, were you wrong on both?
Yeah.
That never happens.
And no, that makes sense though. Like if you start really digging into the psyche, right? Like that makes sense.
Sure. Okay, so Lindsay's on, so you're in the hot seat first, Lindsay.
No.
No. Oh, no.
No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Okay. Question for you just to get us started here.
Okay.
Did you watch any of the Stars Edmonton series?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay.
I
Who are you
hate
pulling
Edmonton
for in
more
it?
than anything. So
Okay.
I avoided that one. And I hate the Stars because the Stars were in Minnesota.
Mm.
And they
Right.
Norm
That's
Green
right.
just tore my heart out.
Oh,
And they have
Great
Ryan
thing.
Suter, just despicable.
Oof.
You know?
So
You're just sitting at a bar, you ask them to turn it off. They're like, wait, don't you like hockey? You're like, no, get this shit out.
Get the shit off. Yes, absolutely. But no, I did watch a little bit here and there, yes.
okay. All right. So you're pulling for not the Stars. We'll put it that way.
I don't see in that Edmonton Stars, I think I was pulling for the Stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I played so Pavelski and Suter were at Wisconsin when I was there.
Oh.
So
okay.
There you go.
And then what's the Stars goalie? Why am I blanking?
Ottinger?
He's a Lakeville, Minnesota kid. So
Oh,
gotta
shit.
gotta cheer for them.
Sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Okay. So got some ties to the team. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So with your limited watching of it, did you see anything that you wanna point out in the series?
I just can't stand Connor McDavid.
I love it.
Love it.
But,
So-
so is it because just like I don't know, he's so good?
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
It's personality driven.
You know,
Got it.
Kid is lazy. He's soft. Treats his teammates like trash. What else?
Oh,
do you want?
I don't doubt
Such
that.
what a Minnesota response.
Guys
we
got-
like real hockey in Minnesota, baby.
Guys
Have you ever
got
watched? Have you ever watched Connor McDavid go back to the bench?
Yeah.
No.
No, I mean apparently.
I mean,
not.
probably because the camera is literally on, like they have a Connor McDavid cam, but
That's right.
you know, like other than that, I would not. No.
Kids' boots are full of cement going back to the bench.
Okay. Well, I mean, why back check or why skate to the bench when you're Connor McDavid though? Like,
I mean, has he won anything yet? I mean, maybe this year for the first
That's a
time
good
in how
point.
many years has
Maybe.
he been in?
it's getting close.
I saw seven. Someone fact check me on that, but I think I saw 7 years he's been in the league and nothing.
Yeah,
sounds
nothing.
right.
Sounds
Like
right.
this is the farthest he's gone, right? And he should
Yeah.
like with the talent they've had on that team in years past. They should have like 3 cups by now.
You'd think.
Just
You would
you'd
think.
hope so. Yeah, I mean, as a GM,
But-
you would hope.
But right. Well, okay, we can get into Kenny Holland here in a second, but
Sure.
so all right, Edmonton closes out the series in 6. They take it home in Edmonton.
Mhm.
Taylor, I'm gonna kick it over to you here for a second. Why was the girl who flashed her front porch to the arena the X factor in this series? Go.
She's got to be dating Stuart Skinner because that's the real reason.
Oh
that
my
they're-
God, what a fantastic answer!
Thank you. That's the only reason that they're in the freaking in the show here. So
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Like I've definitely seen that set about 7 times in the last week because of you, but
A real seminal moment in Chance's life.
yeah,
And
it's a
and
big-
the memes
a
are
bane on our
fantastic.
group chat.
Yeah.
The
So
memes
I
have
mean,
been solid.
the memes have been pretty good. But yeah, it was Stuart Skinner. Literally, they had 10 shots
Yeah, who
10
is
shots.
in Game 6. That's unbelievable, dude. That should never happen. And I hate to say it because I've ragged on him all year, like everybody else has. Stuart Skinner won him that series, man.
Well, and
It's just
I mean,
stupid.
looking at Connor McDavid, even in the post, like they're throwing on those absolutely terrible Fanatics hats we can get into that in a little bit.
Mhm.
Absolutely just awful, ugly Fanatics hats they're throwing on. Like, Connor, what, how was the game? Whatnot? He's like, he said everything short of like, we probably shouldn't have won that game. Like,
Yeah.
literally, like the third period, they had like 0 shots. I mean, Corsi, pretty much every stat other than the score was definitely not in their favor. And it was just, I don't know, man. It makes you think that they're just not for real. It leaves that doubt.
But also that's a kind of game that they haven't won in the past, right? Like
True.
they haven't been able to grind out a 2-1 game in years past. They've needed to win 5-4.
Sure.
And now, I mean, they're when you have your PK and you have the Stars penalty kill or power play going 0 for 14 in the series.
Yep.
And like the Oilers penalty kill is at 93% for the playoffs. Yeah. Like when you're not giving up, when your penalty kill is clicking like that and you're able to grind out, if McDavid does McDavid things and he puts you up 2-0 and you're able to just grind it out, like that's a skill they haven't had in years past. So on the one hand, yeah, you're right. It makes you think it's not believable. On the other hand, if you're an Oilers fan, you're looking at it going like, happy you learned how to putt. Now we can play some defense and we can grind out a 2-1 game and we're not just having to like outscore our problems.
Taylor, would you have seen, or would you have pictured the Stars power play going 0 for 14? Like, not even necessarily as a reflection, like their power play is really good, but like the defense, like the penalty kill of Edmonton, like what the hell?
Yeah, and I think that's the perfect point, right? Like, Stars power play was definitely an asset, but I mean, when you think of the Stars, like they don't have them Connor McDavid's and the Dreisaitl's on that power play, right? Like they have very good players. Wyatt Johnson's a very good player. You would hate to hear me say this, Chance, but Matt Duchene can still score goals. Like there is some players. There's some play. I know. Yeah. Don't be too sad over there. So I think it definitely you got to give kudos to that penalty kill, because if you walked in and said the Oilers penalty kill and Stuart Skinner are what's going to save them and get them to the Stanley Cup Finals, I probably would have smacked you a little bit. Like I would have hit you.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Sure. So I just, to me, it's unbelievable, but you got to give them kudos too.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for any NHL team in the conference finals to go 0 for 14.
True.
On the power
Very
play.
true.
Especially with Stuart Skinner being your opposing goaltender. Like that's just not like, I mean, the guy has shown moments like where he can be hot, but like isn't that his thing? He's Jekyll and Hyde. Like where he shows up one night and then other times he doesn't look like he should even be an AHL goalie. So I don't know. That one's truly baffling to me. It's kind of hard to go into. Lindsay, I want your thoughts on an aspect here, because it's been brought up a couple times. Dallas had a significantly harder and more arduous trip to the conference final compared to Edmonton, who had to, kind of walk. I don't want to say walk through, but they played LA and Vancouver compared to Vegas and Colorado.
Right.
Like, is there any merit to that, you think?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
I mean, it's a drain, right? Like at the end of the season, it's a long season. And then you got to battle that hard. And teams like Vegas has experience, right? Avs have experience, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a tough one, especially compared to who Edmonton had to go through.
Right. So, and could that carry to the Stanley Cup Final? Like, I mean, again, like Dallas is no pushover for sure, but could the same thing happen? Like Florida did not play an easy opponent at all to get here.
Yeah, but Florida's got some grinders.
Oh, they do.
They got some grinders.
We could sit on that one.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. I wanted to foreshadow a little bit because I'm really excited about that series.
Freaking awesome stuff.
Aaron, you got any closing thoughts on the Stars here?
Just that I don't know where they go from here, right? Like obviously, like we can talk about Pavelski in a minute, but like you look at this team, and there's like two groups of this team. There's a group that's like 32 to 35, and there's a group that's like 21 to 23.
Sure.
So your young guys haven't hit the peak of their aging curve while you have like Tyler Seguin signed for 3 more years at $9.8 million.
Yuck.
And like you have these guys that are on the back end. And I know that like Jamie Benn, you know, he's had kind of a resurgence over the last couple of years, but like, you know, dude's 34. Like Ryan Suter is going to be 40 next year. Like, and granted, he's got 1 year left on his deal. So I just like, they're in such a weird spot where like part of their lineup is like on the tail end of their career. The other part hasn't hit their peak yet. And so I just think they're going to be in the situation where they're just going to be caught in between, like it just based on their aging curves for the next couple of years. So I think they're going to be a really interesting team to see how they bridge the gap between those like 2 segments of their lineup. Like they're in a weird spot for the next couple of years.
It could be worse. You could be the Penguins with like literally no core at all. Like once these guys phase out, it's done. Whereas
they also had 3 cups, so that changes the
they
conversation a little bit.
They do have some success there. That's fair. Taylor, let's put a cap on it, and Lindsay even chime in here a little bit. Like, tell me a little about the legacy of Joe Pavelski here. Like as a Ducks fan, you've rooted against him quite a bit. What's this guy's like? Is this gonna be kind of like a Henrik Lundqvist thing?
I mean,
like, is he in that conversation of like greats that just could never do it?
So because he's officially retiring, right? He's
done.
Get it?
Yeah,
he's called it.
He said he's not playing next year.
He might try to milk some money. You know, maybe he does like the Mike Fisher thing where like he doesn't play all season and then comes in for the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't know how they do that, but
he's just doing commercials next year.
Smart
he
guy.
signs up. He's going to play that
That's a
league.
good
That's definitely real.
Yeah. His family was like, you know what, just take a year off and do some commercials.
You're only gonna just rest up, recharge. You're gonna be good at 41.
Yeah, he's gonna be golden. Look. So for me, like, it's so bittersweet because, I mean, we knew some Sharks fans in college too that just absolutely loved the Sharks, and I absolutely hated them. You know, so like it's just this weird middle ground for me. But of all the Sharks, I think Pavelski is one of those guys that was just like, I mean, I could go hang out with him, right? Like, you know, even if he's got a teal sweater on, like I know he's going to be a cool guy. So, for me, I wish he would have got a cup, and it's not just because I had Dallas winning this year, but
that's right.
It's a shame. You hate to see that stuff. It's definitely a Henrik Lundqvist, right? I mean, the guy just was. He just had that seasoning, right? Like he just had that. You know, you thought it was going to happen. He just didn't really even age. He still had a good year this year. He just is so consistent and just decides that the playoffs are more fun than the regular season. So it's just, he's one of those guys that you love to watch. So if he doesn't come back, I mean, if he's 41, I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah.
And that's not even that old. That's what's funny. But it's old in hockey terms. So
yeah, it's old in hockey, but
yeah, it's just, you know, he's done. He's not going to come back, but
I could see that. He's not coming back. And see, that does blow me away though that you're putting him in the same category as Lundqvist. Because like if you go to you're like, Chance, is Henrik Lundqvist a Hall of Famer? But I have a very strict definition of what I think we've let in way too many people that I think we put in people that we like into the Hall of Fame instead of people who have earned to be in the Hall of Fame, which is fine, I guess. Like, you know, Vancouver fans would probably tear me apart if I'm like, no, I don't think the Sedin twins should be in the Hall of Fame. Sorry, I don't. But
that's like, you just don't like gingers.
That's the last episode. The last episode would directly contradict that, where you and Bobby called me out on exclusively liking gingers.
So, sure.
I guess
you just can't decide. You're confused.
I'm ginger curious.
So, do you believe you have to win a cup to be in the Hall?
Oh, that's such a good question. Fire.
No, but it's.
Do you have to win a cup to be considered one of the greats?
To be one of the all-time greats.
So, like, Pavelski could be considered one of the best Americans to ever play.
Mm-hmm.
He's in the conversation. I don't know.
What would put him to be like a Modano or obviously not a Modano because he didn't score as much, but like what would do that? A cup?
some other trophies, I think, right? Like,
what's his trophy cabinet look like, Aaron?
There's nothing. He was a postseason All-Star one time in his career, and the best he had for Hart, he finished like 9th.
Okay.
Or something. Like,
that guy is like hands down like one of the nicest humans you'll ever meet in your life, and I think maybe that's why you gotta have a little chip on your shoulder to get that stuff.
Yeah,
sure. He's like, if you look at his career, he's like he was never a point per game player. He just kind of sat between. He peaked. He had 40 goals like once, but he just kind of sat between like 25 and 35 goals. 60 to 70 points, and he just did it for 20 years. Like
he's a consistently good player, which is hard to find in the NHL.
Totally. Yeah. So it gets into like whether or not he's a Hall of Famer. It gets into like whether or not you're like a peak versus like, career totals. Like he has 1,000 points. He doesn't have 500 goals. He never has any like awards to his name other than, like I said, the one All-Star, postseason All-Star. But he's so beloved. I think the people who vote on those things are going to put him in. And also, to your point, Chance, we put Kevin Lowe in the Hall of Fame. Sure. Anybody can get in the Hall of Fame.
Right. Like,
who cares at this point? But
I think he's more deserving of like a jersey retirement. Like if the Sharks retire his number, I think that's
totally
fine.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. Linz, what do you got?
It's tough, right? Because wasn't he a late round draft too?
7th round pick, yeah. He was way late in the draft.
Okay.
And he did what he did. Like, that's pretty impressive.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's a Hall guy. I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
I agree. I even as a Ducks fan, right? Like this is a pretty polarizing topic between Ducks fans. I don't personally think Getzlaf is even in the Hall. Right. So I put Pavelski and Getzlaf in a very similar thing. I mean, don't get me wrong. Getzlaf had some point per game seasons. And does have a cup, but I don't know, right? Like they're kind of those middle ground guys where you really got to make a decision, and you're just I think all of us based on personality would probably put them both in there, right? Because I mean, as much as Connor McDavid is going to probably shatter even Gretzky records, right? Like he's just not. He doesn't seem like someone I would want to go hang out with, right? Like, so it's just hard for me to accept him in there, right? Is that
the next trophy that we're gonna roll out? Because apparently we just hand them out like candy now. Like we gotta give a trophy to everybody. So it's gonna be the
Mr. Congeniality.
The Grab a Beer Award. It's gotta be named. It's got to be named after the Nick Lindstrom Award. Where
it's the Phil Kessel Grab a Beer Award.
Let's
be real. There's no one more deserving. The Phil Kessel Beer and Hot Dog Award, presented by Bridgestone.
Most likely to have an enjoyable beer and hot dog with. Yeah, and that'll be awarded every year.
It'll
be picked by Phil Kessel every year.
Yeah. I mean, if Mark Messier gets an award, we might as well give one to Phil.
I can't. When we get to New York, I can't wait to start talking about it.
Yeah, Taylor, I got a question for you because we're talking about Hall guys, and you mentioned Getzlaf. Is Corey Perry a Hall of Famer?
Holy, no. I knew that was coming. I mean, 5 teams. This is his 5th Stanley Cup Final.
He's lost 4 times.
Okay, he's lost 4 times.
He's in the triple. He's one of the few guys in the Triple Gold Club. He's got a heart. He's got a rocket. He was a postseason All-Star twice. It's a thing for him. Like he won World Juniors. He's got a gold medal. He's won a cup. Like the dude just won everything. But his individual stats,
termination. Love that too.
And unlike Pavelski, didn't age gracefully. He's been 4th line grinder guy. He had the off ice issues. Like
I mean. We've all gotten drunk and hit on people that we probably shouldn't have, right? I mean,
it obviously wasn't bad enough to like get him kicked out late because he immediately got another job later. So I'm more just giving him shit. I'm not necessarily saying he did anything terrible.
I mean, I think especially if he is on the team and he helps this Edmonton team win the cup this year, 100%. I think he solidifies it. I think what he the reason that he started playing 3rd and 4th line, bottom 6 minutes is because he fucked up his knee, right? And it's the whole reason we talked about it on this podcast too. I was all for the Perry buyout, right? Because I didn't know what his knee was going to look like, right? So he comes back from that injury. He could have been playing 4th line minutes and putting up, 2 points a year for all we know, right? Or he could have been on a beach somewhere selling Mai Tais, right? Like we just don't know what he would have looked like. And so I think, I do like Perry. His rocket was out of nowhere, right? I don't think there's a lot of people who have said that year Corey Perry is going to win the Rocket Richard. Yeah. But I think if Edmonton does go and win a cup this year, I think it's hard to deny him because every team he's been on, he's definitely a locker room guy, and hardware talks too. So
what you're telling me is that Corey Perry in retirement is going to open up a Mai Tai bar called Worms Mai Tais.
Yeah, no, I'll honestly, I'm planning on being the angel investor for it.
Okay, all right, I like that.
Okay, Worms, yeah, that'll work.
Worms, where it's just called Worms.
Mm-hmm.
They also sell fish tackle, like for bait. Yeah,
you have to. I mean, if you're on the beach, right?
That makes sense. Oh, is this going to be on the beach? Is he going to go back to?
You're not gonna open up a Mai Tai bar called Worms in the middle of the fucking mountains.
Yeah, he's not opening it in Edmonton. Like he's gonna go somewhere warm and he's gonna put himself near a beach.
Okay, that's fair. All right, so Linz, let's put a cement on all of this Hall of Fame talk, because we could go off on this for an hour. Like you guys are talking about Corey Perry, but I would like to make an argument that like Pat Maroon, by that logic, Pat Maroon should be in that conversation.
Yeah,
right, exactly. So,
okay.
I understand he doesn't have the personal cabinet that Perry does, but the guy literally he's got almost a fistful. He does have a fistful of cup rings. Like
everywhere he goes, he wins.
That's right.
No, not tell that to the Wild.
That's
not even Pat Maroon can save Minnesota. So.
Damn, that's a low blow.
Wild, that's you're going to the grave there.
Well, I mean, I love the Wild, but we have to.
No,
they're across the bear. So what are you gonna do?
Linz, and you can actually give me your opinion on this. So I have one of my favorite sayings on the show is like aggressively mediocre, and the Minnesota Wild are the textbook definition of aggressively mediocre.
Minnesota sports
are
the textbook definition of that.
Okay. Yeah. Aggressively mediocre, because they're not just like mediocre, like because they have a very fervent fan base and they do try. It seems like they make these signings and whatnot. It's just they're never like great. They're good sometimes. Like every year Minnesota Wild make the playoffs and you go, okay, like sure. And then whoever beats them, what are they going to do in the next round? Like it's just like kind of a first round bye.
Right.
They're a Minnesota team that's a pure juggernaut right now, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
The Minnesota Hockey Club, baby.
Yeah. The Minnesota men, very mediocre. Minnesota women,
bring
a champion.
God for women's sports in Minnesota.
Yeah,
right.
Because we wouldn't know what a championship is if it wasn't for women's sports.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
What's the last men's championship? Like the Twins in 1991. Yeah.
Of all those, is that really really?
Yes, that's true.
91.
The Vikings have never won. The Timberwolves have never won. The Twins last won in 91. The Stars made the cup final once and got their teeth kicked in.
Oh, there's Taylor. He's back.
Yeah. So.
Like we're still talking about Brett Favre's throw for that Minnesota Miracle.
Right.
Oh my God!
They're still talking about that. I'm not even kidding you.
They're still talking about Gary Anderson missing a field goal in 1999.
Yeah.
Hey, how's the weather looks great today. Remember Favre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Okay.
Oh,
Minnesota is it's painful. I don't know. I feel so bad for the Wild.
It's tough to be a sports fan in Minnesota. It sounds like
it is. But my reasoning for hockey not being successful is because there's just too much hockey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the backing's not there, right? Like it's just so spread thin.
But you'd think that, that's a pretty fervent. No, okay. Granted, having a fervent fan base does not win you a cup. Toronto. But that's sorry, it's stuck in my throat. I'm choking worse than the Maple Leafs do in the first round. But no, so I get that. I understand, but I having I don't know, I guess, because look at the Yotes, right? Not to bash on our beloved Yotes, because we've been supporters of them for a while, but God, I mean, there you go. Yeah,
I saw.
like we love we love the Yotes. Like my
Yeah,
personal
just watch
thought
your
is,
words, bub.
I was just okay. My personal thoughts are, I love the game growing. Like traditional fans are like, I don't want the game to go to places where it's sunny out or something. Like, no, I want the game of hockey to spread everywhere. So if more non-traditional markets, the better. I love that, but you got to have the fan base there. And the Yotes, I don't know, man. They could never get it. And I'm not saying it killed them. Like it wasn't. It was, at the end of the day, it was the on ice performance. Those guys, what was the deepest they went? Maybe a conference final once.
Yes, that was the white towel movement. That was Mike Smith years. Yeah, Donor was still there.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, I mean, so it could be worse at least. That arena, the Minnesota Wild arena, could be like dead empty, and it seems like they fill it pretty good.
No, they do fill it. They do fill it. So
okay.
Why like, well, people like winners, right? So like, how long is that going to last? And is that the only reason why there's people there? Hold on, I gotta.
No, you're good.
Yeah, I mean, like for everything you want to say about the Parise and Suter contracts,
it
brought a bunch of people into the building. They put those contracts put butts in seats.
And, especially Parise, right? Being a Minnesota guy, and for the most part, right?
Well, I thought Suter was too, or are they just buddies?
He's a Madison kid, Wisconsin.
What an idiot!
What an idiot! Okay, let's put a pin in all of that tangent, and let's jump on over to the Rangers post-mortem obituary. Some quick stats that Aaron put together here. Shesterkin had a .937 save percentage. Pretty
nice.
Good.
Oof,
pretty good.
That's very good.
But Zibanejad, Kreider, and Panarin combined for 2 goals in 6 games.
Yep.
That sucks.
It's not gonna get.
And it wasn't even Zibanejad.
Right. And Trouba's stats here, it says, okay, let me look at this. 3 head contact elbows. Is that good?
Mm-hmm. That's not bad.
Okay.
At least he made contact on like that whatever he was trying to do on, I think it was the second goal, where they have 2 guys that are coming at him with possession of the puck, and he flails his stick at one, misses, sticks his elbow out, misses the other guy, and then they go down and just ring one bar down.
Ridiculous.
and that's your series.
So great. So Linz, we have like our own formula for like figuring out if something should be a suspension or not.
Okay.
First off is, did it happen? Because sometimes, like from a certain camera angle, something can look like something that actually didn't happen. So did it happen? That's number 1. Number 2 was there intent to injure? We go, okay, all right. So if it did happen, did he mean to do it? Like, did he mean to like hurt this guy?
Okay.
And then the wait, that might have been the third one. Yeah, it's did it happen? And was there an injury on the play?
Okay.
Those are the number 3.
You guys should be on the safety committee.
We would make too much sense.
Yeah, Peros didn't want us. He was like, this is too smart, dude.
They've got a wheel. Okay, they don't want to think about this, so they just spin a wheel. They just go from there. And looking at a lot of these elbows from Trouba in the series, like I sit here and go, like even the one where we kind of made contact just like on the chin though. That's like, did he do it? Yeah. Was there intent to injure? Like he's in fact he's straining himself to elbow this guy in the face.
Yeah, did he pulled something in his shoulder trying to throw that elbow out there, dude.
That's just.
I also feel like in the NHL, if somebody's intending to hurt somebody, they're going to get hurt.
You think
sure?
So?
Right? Like,
I mean, he gave it his all. Like, he tried all playoffs. Yeah, he's just not good at it.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it's honestly like that's why Rangers fans want to get rid of him. They're not even mad about his defensive liabilities. They're literally just mad that he wasn't connecting on elbows that he was trying to hurt people.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like he's just not good at it.
Aaron, was that?
I was gonna say, was it Natchez in the round before where he's like diving with elbows out?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
he like
trying to kill him. Yeah.
He about put himself in the fucking 6 feet under.
Jesus. Yeah. Linz, do you have any strong thoughts on the Rangers?
I don't. I hate New York too.
Okay.
Who
do you like? Like what's
the Panthers?
I
really like the Kachuk boys.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
They do everything, right? Like
they got jam.
Assholes. They score. They play hockey. They're mean.
Yeah. They're hot.
I like them. I would. Did you just say they're hot?
Yeah.
Huh?
They're definitely late rounders.
All right, teach their own. Teach their own.
Okay. I was gonna say if we're talking about lookers on the Florida Panthers, like Sam Bennett with that mustache. Come on, like
You like Muzzy? Yeah, I got you.
He's even got it like waxed up. Like it's like
you
turned up.
You
on
didn't
the
like
side.
my mustache though.
No, but
so it's not a mustache thing.
You're not Sam Bennett though. So.
Yeah, wow.
They all know that I got
the only good looking thing is out of New York was Lundqvist, and he's gone.
That's
true. Well, you get to watch him occasionally though, right? Like
you get him
in
they put him on the panel
broadcast.
That's what I was going to ask you about Sagan earlier. Is he really worth that much money besides his good looks?
Nope. Sure not.
Phil, hey, he's worth his weight in getting pictures taken for the social media manager. So
yeah, he was a first rounder in that department for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
God.
Yeah, he wasn't waiting long, you know.
So
well, fortunately, he's only got 3 more years at $9.8 million.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
We got eye candy for the next 3 years in Dallas.
Yeah.
Good shit.
Right.
So they went. Yeah, Dallas went from James Neal to fucking Tyler Say. That's illegal. that shouldn't be a thing.
Some handsome men right there. I mean, if they would have wait, they even had Patrick Sharp for a second.
Oh my god. Well, maybe that's who I was thinking of.
Patrick Sharp.
Patrick Sharp is a fucking.
Do they even have James Neal, or I'm just an idiot?
I don't know. Aaron, I need you to look up this very important stat of whether or not James Neal played for the Dallas Stars.
Yeah, we need to know, did they have the trifecta of hot men on their team over the last 10 years?
Did they have the wherewithal to sign the real deal, James Neal? He did play for Dallas for 3 years.
Go.
Thank you.
Good job.
Cheers.
He played from 2008 to 2010, 2011.
So now we know Dallas's trade and draft strategies. They're just looking for absolute killers.
They just want smoke shows, you know.
That's right.
Now we know we got to go to Taylor to find all the good-looking men in the NHL.
Hey, you need a source. You know where to find it.
Come back, episode 151. We're gonna rate them all. Here we go.
That's right. 1 through 400.
That could be fun. Honestly.
Yeah, 7-round draft just based on how hot they are.
I like that.
Ovechkin's the last pick.
100%. 100%.
Ovi's like a good time out at like the go-kart track, but other than that,
it's a shame John Scott's not in the league still. Him and Ovi be pushing that last spot.
I'm telling you, Moritz Seider.
Let's do it.
Moritz Seider is gonna be he's gonna be one of those handsome German guys like Grubauer.
Yeah, he's got the flow going.
Yeah. You're looking good. Okay. Back to New York. Talking some hockey in this series. I feel like personally the Rangers lost this series because of things that we've already talked about before. Like this wasn't a letdown of some kind. Well, it was kind of a letdown because they shut down that first line. And we've talked about in previous episodes that New York's strength was their first line. Like this is arguably one of the best first lines in the NHL. Zibanejad was on fire. Kreider was playing well. Panarin was finally, tucking them as well as passing. You were getting some depth offense from Lafreniere, who was kind of having, it's coming out here a little bit.
100%.
Totally.
Maybe even a little better. Adam Fox kind of seemed a little quiet.
He was hurt.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And honestly, too much was placed on Rempe in all of this. Like when we're coming up to Game 6 and like your biggest roster decision is like, oh, we're gonna put in the Rempire State Building so he can play 4 minutes. Like you got bigger problems. So
that's the problem with having the sideshow, right? Like that's what it's always been. Is like he was always that guy who's not going to play big minutes for you, but he hits guys. And so people like Larry Brooks and Rangers fans are like, no, we got to get guys that can play like 10 minutes a game out of the lineup so we can have Matt Rempe play 3 minutes and get caved in, but he's going to hit like 2 guys.
Right. No, and that's not an excuse, right? Like, I mean, that might be part of it, but also at the end of the day, if your team lives and dies by your special teams and your first line scoring goals and they don't, you're going to lose because, I mean, it's obviously not Shesterkin's fault. A .93 save percentage is incredible. Like, I mean, you're not losing the series because of him. You're losing because you're not getting depth scoring and your first line is not doing what they've been doing all playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. We need to remember that Rempe is 21 years old. That is a fucking child.
Mhm.
That is a big child. Okay, a very big baby. But like, so he's going to be better, right? Like, I think you can get that player into a 10-minute a game or 10 minutes a game player. Like, he's very fresh. I love what he can bring. And I would have still loved to see him in game one. I know he was still kind of a liability throughout the rest of the series. I mean, but a lot of that, it's also a team game, right? Like a lot of that has to do with who he's going out there with, right? Like I
Sure.
just, I think at the same time, the kid is 21. You can easily mold him into a 10-minute a night guy. And if the Rangers make the right moves and don't just absolutely blow this thing up and say, Philip Hito wasn't there, so let's make him the first line center and get rid of Trouba and Zibanejad, right? Like if they don't make those kind of stupid mistakes with this, they're still young. Like this team is still actually a fairly young team.
Mhm.
So I do like where they're kind of at. But to Aaron's point, right? If you are having this conversation in your head of if it should be Philip Hedel, who we know can score some fucking goals, and Matt Rempe as your decision here, you're gonna have a bad time. And I think Laviolette definitely got in his head. At the same time, Florida is just the better team. They're just the better team.
Like,
And Shesterkin stood on his head and still couldn't make it happen. So
we're focusing on the Rangers' shortcomings, and there were like that. It is, but you're right. At the end of the day, and we can kind of kick it over to Lindsay for this. Like, Florida's the better team. Like,
Yeah.
That's just how it is. I think the only thing that I need to add to all of that is that it's the main reason we talk about Empire State Building and the first line and all that. But Taylor, the real reason that the Rangers lost is because Alex Wenberg sucks.
Yeah, I mean,
trading
he got
for Alex. He got that overtime winner. Like, what's that worth to you?
That's all he did.
Would they give up like a 4th-round pick? They tried a 4th-round pick for an overtime winner in the playoffs.
That's all he did,
in 16 playoff games, he scored 1 goal, had 1 assist, and was -2, and he skated 16-26 a night.
Okay, I thought he was going to be a lot higher a lot more negative in the plus minus. So that's actually not terrible.
Hey, scoring a game winner in OT is huge.
Yeah, like
Lindsay,
won him a game.
Lindsay, though, like all 4 of us, given the right opportunity, also just put our fucking sticks in the way and get one in the back of the net, though, right? Like, come on.
It's the Zach Hyman effect.
No, it's not even that. Zach Hyman scores a lot of goals. Holy shit.
Zach Hyman might set the record for goals in the playoffs.
You know what? Winberg
all of those words that you just said.
Winberg's lucky he's just a late first-round pick in the sexy hockey player draft. So,
handsome.
I mean, like, that's literally all he's got going for him.
It's very handsome.
Hey, he's in New York. It's important there.
That's right. Yeah, no, his Tinder is so, like, he's getting it.
So
I think he's married, but it's fine.
Lindsay, tell me a little bit. Like, so I mean, Florida's a better team in all this, and I think that we were all like, even I think Taylor had New York in this, but he was just being contrarian. Sure. Like, Florida's the better team in that series, right?
I think so. I just think top to bottom they're a better team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who stands out to you the most in that series with Florida?
So I don't watch enough of it to know.
Okay.
But I'm always
from your limited experience.
I'm always going to pick Tkachuk because he does everything.
That's fair.
Like
100%.
Any person that does everything all year long, like it's not just the playoff show. It's not just a regular season show. He does it all year long.
Sure.
Like,
yeah.
I don't know. That's my opinion.
Well, and Bobrovsky also, I mean, stars that stand out to me, and we can that'll get into the playoff series here preview in a second, but like Bob stood on his, like he played just as well as Shesterkin, so nothing wrong with that. Tkachuk is an absolute fucking gamer. I love the guy.
Dude,
like he's
ridiculous.
Who doesn't love him? He just does. He is one of the best well-rounded players in the game with some grit. And that's a good point. Like
32 teams want him on their team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. Like
nobody wants to play against him.
100%. Yes, 100%. But just he's a game changer.
And the other thing I think that he helps is I think he does a lot of stuff off the ice. Like I've heard really good stories about like what he does for the people around and the people that make it go. And that's, I think, that's something you can't really measure, right? Like, but that's so important, which helps them put them in this position for in the playoffs, in the finals.
Yeah, he seems like a guy that's great in the room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
he's getting the Phil Kessel Award every year.
And that Jeez. You watch, like that's going to be a big difference in this final. Like, how does Connor McDavid lead in the locker room because that's who's everybody's following, and how does Tkachuk lead in the locker room because that's who's everybody's following?
That's a really good point.
Yeah, and I think historically, Tkachuk wins that battle. Yeah, now, maybe did Connor finally figure it out? Holy shit, I haven't won anything yet. Like, my time's a ticking. Maybe he did. We'll find out.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't be such a prick.
Yeah.
I don't know. Being a prick worked for Nathan McKinnon.
Sure.
That's fair, I guess. Yeah.
And Corey Perry, baby.
I think there's some of that, right, that you have to have, but then I think I've heard some pretty gnarly stories about McDavid in the locker room.
Okay.
He just, to me, and this is way off the cuff. Like, I obviously haven't been anywhere close to a professional locker room, even as you, Lindsay. Like, no, I've been in like beer league shit. Maybe he's not saying this, and I'm sure he doesn't, but like, he kind of just carries himself like, you're going to pass me the puck, right?
Right.
Like, pass me the fucking puck.
Right.
Like, don't like, hey, Hyman, go to the fucking front of the net. Like, you're not going to touch the puck until I fucking bank it off your stick. Right. Like he just, to me, And maybe it's just because I don't like Edmonton either. But it just, he carries that fucking aura for me.
Now, on the other hand,
please,
can I just go sit in front of the net and get some ugly garbage goals from you?
Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Can I score 50 goals that travel 52 feet?
Yeah.
Sounds awesome.
Perfect. Right? You just want me to go stand over here and you do everything? Done.
And then he'll occasionally, like in the Dallas game, he'll occasionally just walk the entire team and bury one himself.
Yeah,
like,
he'll just we're not taking away from him being like, it's all universal. Like, even when you don't like him, it's like, he's probably the best player in the league. And probably the best player. Like, it's hard to argue that. Like, it's more along the lines of like, is he? And I always like to use, Lindsay, you can kind of comment on this, but like, I've always used like the Ovechkin example. Like, for years, Ovi would drag the Capitals to, the playoffs and maybe even get to the conference finals or something like that in that god awful Southeast division that they used to play in. And they'd always lose because Ovi tries to do what he would try to do in the season, where he's like, you can even picture it in your mind. He'd go into the neutral zone and the defenseman tries to, apply pressure. And then he just turns on the jets and does his little gallop thing and then goes to the neutral zone around him and scores top shelf. Like, he used to do it all the time. The year that he actually won the cup was the year he's like, I kind of redid my game a bit to be like deep. Like, I'm actually back checking now. Like, like crazy. What a concept. And I think you're right in the sense that maybe Connor McDavid's figured it out a bit. But then again, you look at games like, again, there's reasons to be skeptical of that team. And I know that sounds weird of a team making it to the Stanley Cup Final right now, but the doubt remains for me. And especially with the team that it sounds like we all are kind of favoring to win the cup here. I don't know. I feel like it might get revealed.
I think too, though, like Edmonton might have done a good job and just got a bunch of slime balls around him that just don't give a shit anymore, too, right? Like,
Corey fucking Perry, baby.
Right?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Hey, we're
and
going to grind one more out and be done.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, as I think the only person who's picking the Oilers to win the cup, like,
oh, wow. Okay.
I think the conversation around the Oilers and the Panthers is the exact same thing you would have said against Dallas. You'd be like, hey, there's question. Who has the better goaltending? You would have said Dallas. You probably would say Florida. Who has the better blue line? Dallas had a better blue line on paper. Florida has a better blue line on paper. You've been like, what are the strengths of the Panthers? It's like, it's their depth. It's their forecheck. You would have said a lot of those same things about Dallas. And the Oilers won 2/3 of the games that they played.
Yeah. Minus like, one thing, though. Minus one thing.
Sure.
And I think this is what makes it a different series than the Dallas one, because like I said, I had Dallas going. Florida has some nasty and you get McDavid, you get Draisaitl, you get them a little fucking heated,
Mhm.
they're not going to succeed. And so I still, and I don't hate the pick because I mean the way Stuart Skinner played against Dallas, I think Dallas is a little snake bitten, realistically, right? Like it's just that's how it was. Stuart Skinner is not a fucking world beater. They were just a little snake bitten when it comes to scoring goals. But when it comes to Florida, that is a nasty little team.
Yep.
And I love that matchup against the two, and it'll be really interesting because a lot of the Edmonton media, especially, was like, "We got this in the bag, right? Like this is the easy." And it's like you haven't met a slime ball team like Florida.
I think
Florida's gonna beat you up, dude.
I think if I think in either direction, if you're like this series, one team is heavily favored. I think you're mistaken. Like you don't get like, and these are my favorite kinds of series because they're stylistically they play so differently.
Yes,
Right.
That I like watching the different styles. How do the different styles of game interact? And I think with the Oilers, I think they've put together enough. And I also think, like to your point, I think McDavid and Draisaitl they're looking at like these are legacy games for them.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think that they are going to. I think that they are going to.
Brought up. Yep, 100%.
I think they are going to show up in a big way because they know how much it means for them. Like they're not looking at it as like, what do I win a cup? They're looking at it as like, am I in this echelon of player? Right. And in order to be in that echelon, I got to get a cup.
Yeah.
And
or
so I think.
Poser. Yeah.
And so I think that like. They're going to produce. And even if you like slow down Connor McDavid, like slowing him down the way he's playing lately is like a point a game.
Agree.
And so like if you look at it from that perspective, you're starting every game if you're Florida down 1-0 because either McDavid or Draisaitl or both are probably going to get one. And so then you have to like work backwards from that. And so I think they have enough around them to get them over the hump, but I think it's going to be really, really close.
Yeah, it has been better. And I think you put it perfectly because I've said it time and time again on the show. Like the path to beating the Oilers is simple and yet very difficult. Like there's not like a complex strategy to beat the Edmonton Oilers. All you need to do is shut down Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Now that sounds very like how I say it. That sounds very simple. I understand that shutting down the best player in the world and arguably the second best player in the world. I understand that there's a debate there, but that's not an easy task. I get that. But you look at all the series that they've won so far. Every game they've won, the other team failed to shut down Connor and Leon. If you can do that, you will win the series. And I'll be the first to admit I was wrong. I thought Dallas was up to the task. I didn't think Nashville was, or not Nashville. I didn't think LA was, and I didn't think Vancouver was. I thought Dallas was up to the task of shutting down Connor and Leon. They obviously couldn't.
They did a pretty good job of it, though.
They did.
Like, really, that series came down to Dallas's offense.
I mean, McDavid had 10 points in 6 games.
Sure, but I mean that's what you expect, right? Like if you look at the overall,
that's what I'm saying. If you can cut it down to 5, you might win that series.
Sure, but I mean, you look at the overall scores of those games. Yeah, he had 10 points in 6 games, but
it's pretty good.
That's all Edmonton had,
right?
Right? Like they technically did an effective job of shutting down. He could have also had fucking 18 points in 6 games, right? Like that he's that good of a player.
Yes,
and it so I agree.
Let me ask you this, because I don't know this answer.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say Kachuk goes out there and just runs his mouth, takes shots, extra shots, pisses Draisaitl off, and McDavid. Is there enough firepower on Florida to rifle a few in and win the series that way?
Oh yeah. All you got to do is rattle Skinner. Yeah, all you got to do is rattle Skinner and make him doubt himself again, and you're right back in it. And this is over in 5.
Yeah,
I think because
if you're the coach, are you going to try to rattle Skinner? Or are you going to try to take out Draisaitl and McDavid?
Second option. I think Skinner. I think Skinner is so beatable. I think Skinner is playing is definitely punching above his weight class in this last one, right? Look at what he did through the first 2 series of the Stanley Cup Finals for the Oilers. He's not a good goalie. He had a very good series, and if that carries over, I will eat that crow, right? But to me, you can rattle McDavid and you can rattle Draisaitl. We've seen it in 7 years in the playoffs, right? We've seen teams rattle them because they don't like getting hit. They don't like, not getting one fucking call, because that's what Connor McDavid absolutely fucking hates.
Yep.
Is not getting a call that they don't call in the playoffs that he gets the penalty for in the fucking regular season, and it just rattles their brain. Yep. So I'm 100% going after those two, and the goals will come. So
I think that's a really good point, because I think actually, and I hate to put it this way, but a big thing in the series is how it's going to be officiated. Because if you give that Edmonton power play 3-4 cracks and they're running at 37%,
like, it's pretty good.
That's and I know you would have said the same thing about, but if Florida tries to be scumbags and they get called for it, the Oilers are much more likely to make them pay than any team that they played. But also, if the refs are letting that shit slide because it's the Cup Final and whatever, then that leans heavily in Florida's favor. So because of the dynamics of the teams, how the games are officiated becomes like a bigger factor, because that's such a strength of the Oilers and that's such a strength of the Panthers. And they are like, one of the two is going to be very pissed off at how the games are called.
I feel like Florida is more versatile, because like if plan A doesn't work, we've got a plan B, we've got a plan C. We can change things up, we can move stuff around, we can adapt our game. Whereas Edmonton is plan A. Like, either Connor and Leon are directly involved in the offense for 80 to 90% of our goals, or we lose. Like, that's it. Like, there is no, and I understand Aaron has a bit more hope in the depth, and I'll even freely admit, like, the depth of Edmonton is better than it has been in the past. It's still not good, in my opinion.
No,
it's still not elite.
Not compared to Florida. Absolutely.
No,
not having a competent goalie is bad news in the depth.
Yeah,
sure.
Yes, it is.
Sure. And like I said before, if Skinner shows who I think he truly is, Taylor truly thinks who he is. Like I said, this series is over in 5. Like, it's not. I just don't. I don't know. I don't see that happening. And if you can shut down those two guys, the Florida depth will just beat the hell out of them. And and as far as the question, Linz, you asked, like, can they do it? And I'll back up your point here. Two guys, they're called Matthew Tkachuk and Sam Bennett. And those two guys can easily get under somebody's skin. They're very good at it. Oh, and not to mention, you've got other shit disturbers on the teams like Cousins. And the defense has got some tooth to it too. Forsling's done some shit. And then I still have
unbelievable. He's been so
good.
Yeah,
Forsling's
amazing.
So good in the playoffs.
And I haven't even mentioned, like, Sasha Barkov. Like,
yeah. Oh, by the way, they also have the Selke winner.
Oh yeah. On top of that, and not to mention, like, Sergei Bobrovsky's playing like he's 2012 Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, he's playing unreal.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, everything's the only thing that I will concede on is just, like, Florida definitely had a tougher trip to the finals. They seem like they're healthier now than when they did this last year when they went to Vegas. It kind of, like, coming into the Vegas series last year, it kind of seemed like Florida was limping in, literally.
Well, I mean, you remember Ekblad missed a good chunk of the season.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I agree with you there. I think they're definitely healthy. I want to go over Stuart Skinner's stats real quick before all of our listeners who are from Edmonton hate me.
You're already there, man. We crossed that bridge a long time ago.
So last year in the playoffs, 12 games, 3.68 goals against average and a .883. This year, 16 games, 2.5 goals against. That's not bad, but a .897, right? So, like, if you're peppering him, like, you're going to get some goals past him.
And they're going to do it.
I think he's been like just under 920 since the Calvin Pickard start.
Sure.
So, like, in his last, like, again, small sample size, you can slice and dice it to make it numbers seem or whatever you want. Like, he's been better since he got benched, and that's why they beat Dallas in 6. So if you're Edmonton, you're hoping that continues. And if he's
better carry.
If he's over 900, like, I think you've got a chance. But yeah, he could. These are two goalies who could blow up. I know you. A lot of people. I still can't trust, like, Bob. I just can't get past it in my head. Maybe
that's fair.
That's probably a me thing more than anything else, because he's had 2 good runs. But I think either one of these goalies could just implode.
Sure.
And
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Linz, I want to kick it off for the final word on this, but it's got to be the truth here. And I know that this is kind of a simplified version of it, but like this is Florida and Edmonton. Like Edmonton is the weakest team that Florida has played in the playoffs so far. And Florida is going to be the hardest team that Edmonton has played so far. Am I too far off on that?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I also think how long a break have they had? It's been a while.
they're going to have a week. And then in the series, there's a couple like 2-day breaks.
I see. That might be what saved Florida.
Like this final is going to take like 3 weeks.
You can rest. Like a week recovery for an NHL athlete is huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. Like, they're doing everything that they can do under the sun to get these boys ready.
Hyperbolic chambers.
Yeah.
Tiger blood, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it like resets momentum, right? Like you haven't played a game in a week and then you got to go out and it's like game 1 of the cup final. Like,
yeah.
And
whatever.
that could be where Skinner folds, right?
Yeah.
Like
It totally like that like resets everything. You're like starting from square one again,
Because there wasn't that big of a gap last year. I don't
think so. I think you're right. I think they were kind of prepping for it to go to 7, right? I think they were kind of prepping for both series to go to 7.
Yeah.
To where it would only been like 3 or 4 day.
Yep.
But I also think this is good because you're going to get the best. Like both teams are going to be healthy.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You're going to get both teams like 100%. There's not going to be excuses about rest and guys being tired and hurt. Like, it'll be good.
I mean, yeah, exactly. We're going to see what the GMs and the coach essentially prepared for the year, right? Like we're going to see, I mean, neither team is really that banged up. Like we're going to see what,
at least we don't think so.
Better team.
Right. Yeah. And I also think it's going to be harder for the Panthers to lose. So really the 7:00 game, they're playing a 9:00 game their time.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that change is going to be interesting as well.
Yeah.
Yes. No, that definitely time. Well, I mean, and changing. Yeah, that flight time is going to be. No, Aaron, who's got home advantage?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
So I don't know, honestly. Like,
it's gotta be
because
4,
like
right?
playing, like so it's 2 hours. So a 7:00 game for Edmonton is really a 5. That's not a big change.
Florida has home ice.
Okay, so 2 games in Florida. I mean, you go back if you're Florida. I mean, you got to take both those at home, right?
You have to.
Like you can't go back to Edmonton 1-1. That's going to be tough. So if I'm Florida, man, I don't know. It's going to be a good series. I am excited for this. It's going to be, I'm hoping it's going to be a good series. Actually, I mean, are we ready for our final picks on this? Like, who do you got?
I got Florida. I'm actually going to watch this series too. I'm kind of excited.
Nice.
Okay. Florida and how many, Linz?
Ooh, 6.
Okay. Solid pick. Taylor, who you got?
Edmonton has a ton of ex-Ducks, which a lot of the Ducks are cheering for fucking Edmonton, which it just feels like a fucking sin to me.
Sure.
So I'm Florida all the way. There's a very good chance that I'm gonna just explode my credit card and buy a Florida Panthers jersey. So I'm going Florida in 7 because Edmonton has been pretty good at home. So
okay. And all right, Aaron, hit us with your
Oilers in 6.
Okay.
I think to like Lindsay's point, I think Edmonton is the worst team that Florida has played, but Edmonton is the team with the highest ceiling of any team that they've played. And I think that Edmonton is going to play closer to their ceiling. And I think Connor and Leon, I'm just betting on Connor and Leon.
I was going to say,
I think those guys are going to do. And Evan Bouchard's probably going to have a couple big goals. Hyman's going to score from 2 inches outside the net.
It's that simplistic though. But because see, that's my point though. Like if you shut down Connor McDavid, then Hyman doesn't score. So
I mean,
like
Occam's razor, the simplest explanation is the best.
Sure.
So
exactly. It's there's a lot of teams where there's lots of different avenues and whatnot. With Edmonton, it's very complicated yet very, very simple to beat them. And okay, well, I'm gonna, you know what, I think Florida can do it, and I think that this is just it's the level of talent and the level of jam that Florida's got. Edmonton hasn't faced anybody like him in the playoffs yet. The closest would be Dallas, and I still think Florida's better than Dallas. I'm taking Florida in 5.
Okay.
Wow, damn, dude.
Yeah,
I think you might eat that crow a little bit. 5
I might be, yeah. But I'm trying to be a little bold
tough,
here.
dude.
I'm trying to be a little bold.
Yeah, you're trying to really get the X following fired up, huh?
That's right.
You know how much it pains me to pick a Canadian team.
I can't do it.
Feels dirty, dude.
You know how much I hate that. Like,
you're gonna take a shower. You need to go take a shower after this, dude. Like I
need to get a hazmat suit and do whatever.
Nice,
I need to deep clean something. I don't know.
I think I'm gonna cancel our tea time on Saturday,
it's
dude. I'm
probably smart. I might be infectious.
Taylor, if somebody was trying to put some money down on the Stanley Cup Final, how would they do such a thing?
No idea, dude.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on.
We are this close to crowning the Stanley Cup champion, and with the action heating up on the ice, it's even hotter at DraftKings Sportsbook. It's pretty fucking hot.
Mm-hmm.
Even hotter than Tyler Seguin. An official sports betting partner of the NHL. New to DraftKings, listen up. New customers can get a no sweat bet up to $1,500. Just deposit at least $5 and you'll get a bonus bet back equal to your first bet if it doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN as in the Hockey Podcast Network. That's code THPN for new customers to get no sweat bet up to $1,500 if your first bet doesn't hit. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. One no sweat bet per new customer. Issued as one bonus bet based on amount of initial losing bet. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.co/ice for eligibility. Wagering and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. No sweat bet. Say that 10 times fast.
Yeah, that sounds pretty complicated.
That whole thing was a mouthful.
That's a fucking mouthful. Cotton mouth.
We gotta say every single word.
Whoa.
My question there is, I was counting because you went through what to do. If I have a gambling problem in certain states, I know what to do in certain states, but you only hit 4 states in a province. If I'm in the other 45 states or other provinces, am I just hooped?
Yeah, just keep betting.
Yeah,
there's no such thing as a problem in those other states.
Yeah, they don't.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. It's just those constituents.
Right. Yeah. Addiction's not real in those other states.
No, okay, got it.
46 states. If you're in those 46 states, you are fine.
It's not a gambling problem. You're just a gamer.
Yeah, right.
I forget the name. There was a baseball player that got banned permanently for betting on baseball, and he lost 94% of the bets that he placed.
Right.
How
he defied the laws of probability and got banned from playing professional baseball.
It was Marcano or something. Yeah, I know what you're talking
about. Unbelievable.
Whoopsies.
So funny.
he's just a loser though, 46 people in 46 states are all winners.
That's fair. Well, fortunately for Taylor, the sport that he mainly puts money on, prized cockfighting. There are no regulations for that. So
yeah, don't quit talking about it, dude. It's like Fight Club. Keep fucking bringing it up. Bullshit.
All right, that's fair.
Blowing the spot.
Gotta come. I think you know what? I think Corey Perry's running that too. He's running cockfights in Worms Mai Tais.
Yeah, he's not gonna run cockfights in fucking Edmonton at Worms.
That's honestly, we should probably just know better that Corey Perry's running cockfights.
Stop making Corey Perry seem cool.
Yeah. We have to hate him.
That's right. Okay, never mind.
I don't know about you
guys. No, I love him.
I know you do.
That's all right.
You want to talk about some hockey you can watch after the hockey's done?
Yeah, tell me more about hockey after the hockey.
Yeah, so
hockey at night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Hockey
so
After Dark.
Amazon has partnered with I forget the name of the company. I didn't write it down, but they're the same company that do the F1 Drive to Survive and the Full Swing documentaries.
Okay.
So they're partnering to put together a similar documentary for the NHL. They released they put out a trailer today and a press release of some of the players that are going to be featured, and they got a bunch of good names across a bunch of teams. So the players mentioned, they have McDavid, Matthew Tkachuk, Draisaitl, Trouba, Pasta, Swayman, Quinn Hughes, Jack Eichel, Willie Nylander, Philip Forsberg, and Gabe Landeskog. And that's going to be coming out this fall.
Yeah, real quick. Did they pay us for that?
They should.
I don't think they did, and I feel like you just pulled that out of your all hands.
Yeah,
maybe Aaron's getting some money on the side. Damn it, Aaron.
Well, you guys don't pay me. I got to make money from this somehow.
Aaron's got his own sponsors and shit. Damn, dude, you fucking
just work that into the script.
Big timing, bro.
Yeah, they just, I got my own side thing going on here.
That's right. Damn,
don't ask questions.
Aaron just uses his turn to be like, it's on NBC, TVHC, 8/7 Central.
Yeah, so I'll take Oilers in 6, but have you seen Amazon Prime lately?
But have you seen this bar in Edmonton that sponsored me specifically?
Oh, God. Yeah. So, Lindsay, how excited on a scale of 0 to 100, how excited are you to watch Connor McDavid frown at people who just like want his signature?
That's a thing.
That's yeah. In fact, that's all I picture is like it'll cut to McDavid, and then they'll be like an 8-year-old. They'll be like, Connor, I really look up to you. I want to be a hockey player one day, and then like he just like stiffs arms the child in the face and like kind of walks over them.
You know, I have a couple feelings on that. One, it grinds my gears because who does that? But number two, I also know like autograph seekers that like sell it will like totally use a kid.
Right.
Right. Oh.
Some parents like standing behind like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like it's kind of like I get it, but I like fair. You could also make like a kid's life. So such a tough.
It's a tough line to.
It is
out of this list here. So McDavid, Tkachuk, Draisaitl, Trouba, Pastrnak, Swayman, Hughes, Eichel, Nylander, Forsberg, and Landy. Like, of these, are you like looking forward to seeing any? Like, I'm sorry, like Tkachuk, sure for me, but I don't know. McDavid and Draisaitl seem like they're just. It's just going to be like
they're boring.
Their entire 30-minute segment's going to them like playing like Pinochle or something.
I think Hughes might be interesting just because you'll have like the whole family aspect.
The family.
Same with Tkachuk. I'm sure Brady will make an appearance and help. I think Pasta is going to be the breakout because that dude is genuinely funny.
True.
And so I think the Pasta stuff's going to be good. The one I'm really curious about is Landeskog.
Yeah, how are they going to do
that?
Are
they just going to be documenting him like, I don't know if I'm coming back. Like, that's like they're filming it now, like this year. He didn't play, so I like having like that was the name that jumped out to me. Like that seems like they're like, oh, this is like the darker side of hockey, where like, oh yeah, you may just be physically unable to do it, and like that's it. That's you know what I mean? Like
tone.
It's just such a weird name. Like the other ones kind of make sense. But then it's just like, oh yeah, and then there's this guy who hasn't played for a year and may never play again. Like
that could be an interesting little piece of it.
If they're allowed to like show that stuff, and the NHL doesn't have like final say on the edit, which I wouldn't assume they would. Like that would be really interesting. But I think of like who's because Pasta and like Willie Nylander are the only two that have like a personality. Like the rest of them are like the most generic hockey players and. Like Connor McDavid's going to be like, what'd you have for breakfast? And he's like, well, we got to get pucks in deep. And, you know what I mean? Like it's the rest of them are just so like benign that I think those ones will be good.
I don't know. I think you get some of those hockey players. Like, it depends how like open up they get them to get them to go because like some of those guys like off camera are freaking hilarious.
Oh yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, I'm more betting on they're so media trained to just be so boring.
Right.
that I wonder how much they'll actually let their.
I want them to lean into
reality
it.
show.
I want them to lean into it. Like the Truba segment pops up, and it's like I start my day at 8 a.m. when I elbow my alarm clock so it shuts up.
Yeah.
Like he's just like fucking just.
Well, and
they just show video of him in the gym just working on the flying elbow. he's just hitting the mat.
Yeah.
He's like, for my dryland training, I train with the WWE professionals, and it's just like him from the top rope, just
yeah. He's just training with The Rock, just doing the
Swayman. Swayman, if you guys didn't already bring up Swayman, has a personality. He's gonna be funny.
He does.
He's got a personality. He's gonna be funny.
And
he's Alaskan, dude. Like Alaskans are fucking dope.
Oh, now
there it is.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to keep going? No, I'm just kidding. I think it is. Like, I think it'll be good. Like, honestly, the only thing I wanted to kind of see that just looking at the list they don't have, I want to see how fucking military McKinnon is with that fucking team. Like, I want to see that. That's entertaining to me. Like, I never played on a team that was like that fucking crazy.
I want to see. I want to see
that.
I want to see Landy like in a like his cast is up on the table, and like he just like kind of reaches out for like a bag of Sour Patch Kids, and then McKinnon comes out of fucking nowhere and just slaps them out of his hand.
Totally.
Do you want to get better?
I think this is huge for the NHL and like how they present it, because really the NHL isn't like faces aren't recognized, right? Just because like it's just hard, right? Whereas like basketball and golf and whatever, right? It's all facial recognition. So I think if they do a good job on this and they get personalities, it could be a real big hit, and it could carry some momentum into like the season as well.
It's a good point. Hopefully it goes over well.
And I mean the other stuff that this company's done, like I haven't watched the Drive to Survive, but I've heard nothing but great things about it. The full swing they did about the PGA Tour, I really liked. I watched both seasons of that. So if the NHL is hands off and lets this company do their thing, I think it will be really good. But
that's a problem. That's the problem, right?
That's the question, because there's been other docs and attempts at stuff like this, and the NHL has some say in the final edit, and then it's like, well, we can't show. Right. Yeah, we got to put the league in a good light.
Gary's going to get the final cut, and he's going to be like, well, we can't have Jack Eichel drinking tequila out of a stripper's belly button.
Yeah.
We just can't have that.
That would make it so good, though.
Right, I would watch that. Like if we had like Stanley Cup champion like partying his ass off Jack Eichel, where like he was taking tequila shots out of a stripper's belly button at like the Luxor. The Luxor's not a thing anymore. I just made that Excalibur. There we go. That's a real thing.
There you go.
Yeah, isn't
they don't have strippers there though? No, but Excalibur doesn't have strippers, dude.
Oh damn it! I'm 0 for 2. Circus is that a thing? I don't know.
No, they got Excalibur has a nice pool and cheap rooms.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thought Excalibur now is like a Bass Pro Shop.
They could have one in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. I mean, they got like a Walmart in there. They got like Bass Pro.
All right. You know what? I'm gonna edit this. I'm gonna say taking tequila shots out of a clown's belly button at Circus. How about that?
Thanks. Thanks for getting us there, bub.
Making that accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Happy to make our fictional jokes.
Thanks
accurate.
for legitimizing the show.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
real journalism. God damn it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
God damn it.
We are professionals. No, I mean, I look at this list and I'm with you 100%. Like this stuff should be good for the NHL and should be good for the league and should be good for the sport as we try to walk this fine line. Like Lindsay and I actually talked about this before the mics went hot. Like we walk this fine line of we want to bring more entertainment to the league to get more like drama into it, I guess. But at the same time, that's always been like a point of pride of hockey and whatnot is like hockey's not a reality show. Like we take this seriously. It's a professional sport. Whereas, basketball and even football, I mean, look at, the entire drama of like Taylor Swift and the dude from the Chiefs. Like it starts to blur the lines between sport and reality show. And hockey is always taking pride in kind of not doing that, whether it was like, even if we didn't have the ability to become a reality show, until Mike Fisher married Carrie Underwood, we really were not in the celebrity scene. And even then, like that wasn't, for some reason, a professional hockey player married one of the arguably the greatest country singer this era, and like no one cared.
Didn't
Yeah.
Gretzky married a actress though?
She married an actress, and Mark Messier banged Madonna. So
And didn't
Okay.
Sean Avery marry somebody that was a singer?
He's dating somebody right now that's kind of.
No,
I could be making this up. It's like Lady
Sean
Gaga.
Avery married some singer chick.
he
Really?
married Hillary Rhoda.
Wait,
not-
what?
That's
Who's
not a name.
that?
No?
Hillary
No, me
Duff?
neither.
No, Hillary
No.
Rhoda. RHODA.
Huh.
Hillary Duff would never be
Hillary.
caught dead with.
He married a model.
Oh,
No.
that sucks for him.
Yeah, what a rough
Um,
life.
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's too bad because the NHL behind the scenes is kind of a clown show anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah.
it's
Well, and that's Gary is, especially with the NHL getting a lot of bad press right now, which some deserved, some not. Like I'm not in the camp of like painting every single hockey organization as, with sexual assault stuff going on behind the scenes and broadly painting every hockey player as a racist. I'm not in that camp, but there are some issues that are coming to light that definitely need to be resolved. And I think Gary Bettman's very much on damage control right now. So I could definitely see him having a like non-official hand in this, which would kind of upset me because at the end of the day, like we picked stars for sure, which doesn't always necessarily translate to best personalities. Like how many years did it take for Wayne Gretzky to finally like be like semi-relatable on TV as an analyst? Like
Sure.
before Gretz, like he's the best player in the world, and they wouldn't even bring him on TV because he was just so like, Gretz, what'd you think of that play? It was good.
Good. Well, he still needs Biz to.
that's a
Yeah.
He still needs fucking
They
Biz.
have to kind of coax it out of him.
It took
Right.
Biz to get him there.
That's
100%.
Congrats to Biz, man. Like skating 5 minutes in the show, but God, he's an entertainer.
I know,
it.
and Gretzky loves to push that bill, and it's fucking
Absolutely.
amazing. No, I mean, if you so Aaron and I, big golfers, right? So the full swing one that they did for the PGA, it made you love players more, right? Like
Okay.
you wanted to follow these guys. It was really cool to kind of see them behind the scenes, see like, yes, you got a camera in front of you. You're not your complete full self, right? Like, you're putting on the show a little bit, but it also made you hate guys a little more. Like this second season, there's a guy called Wyndham Clark. Sorry, Wyndham, if you're listening. You're a tool, right? Like he's still a tool. He's still a tool. I just still don't like him. So, it creates those villains and the heroes. And I think it's great. I hope
maybe they should have done that. Maybe they should have done, because like I look at this and we picked more of like, I don't know. The only villain on here is Trouba. And we'll see. Like everybody
I'm excited
else
for that one though.
You
Dude.
that's gonna be a big thing about how he paints. That's gonna be the angle. Is gonna be his outlet of painting and the mental health stuff that he does. Like that's gonna be the angle. They're not gonna get into the elbow and the fines. Like
him taking to, like, he was taking legitimate criticism for like his play and whatnot, and then him taking to Twitter and saying like, this is bad for athletes' mental health. Like, dude, you know what's also not good for mental health? Fucking concussions that are caused by elbows to the back of the head. Like, what are you talking about?
I don't disagree. Like, I'm sure, but just get the fuck off of Twitter, dude. Like, what are you doing? You got nothing better to do? Like, go work out. Go practice your elbows.
Well, and all that does is show me that that's getting in his head. Like, he's obviously going on to Twitter, and instead of trying to like say like, it's like, I would even respect more if he goes on. He's like, listen, this is a very tough game. I play a very rough style. Sometimes you got to do things. Sometimes you got to be the villain. Okay. Like, I would think that's horse shit, but at least I would respect that. Instead, he's not even necessarily like denying that he's trying to like maim people with full on haymaker elbows to the face. He's just like, you can't say mean things about my style of play because it's bad for mental health. Like, shut up.
Yeah. And I'm sure part of that is going from the media in Winnipeg to the media in New York.
Sure.
And you went from having 2 guys in your like media scrum to 30. And now all of a sudden that criticism gets a whole lot louder and a whole lot harder to ignore. And that's what you wanted. You forced your way there. So You're
Lindsay
the captain of the team. Now you got to live with it.
Didn't somebody come out and say like the whole playoffs, all you're trying to do is hurt people? Who was that? Was that somebody?
Oh, yes. Was it PK?
I don't remember who it was.
I don't know.
It's funny because PK was like the king.
It was one of the analysts.
PK threw he had a lot of slew foots in the
He
corner.
was a slew foot champion, and he's like,
lot of
"That guy's
slew foots in
dirty."
the corner.
Like, come on, man.
Ooh,
Yeah,
slew foots are
yeah.
the worst though. Those suck.
Oh, yeah,
That's
those are
so dirty.
He had a lot, especially when he was in New Jersey. He couldn't skate
Oh, this-
anymore,
he-
so
he-
he made
yeah.
up for it by just slew footing guys in the corner. He had
That's
He
like not
couldn't-
even the good way of hurting people. Like when I think of hurting people, you're like pinning them, stapling them to the boards, right? Like,
right. Yeah,
no.
Sure.
Oh
Slew
no!
footing's
I mean,
like just-
the good way of hurting people, you either get them on the outside of the ankle,
Yep.
nice little slash, or you take them right upstairs into the baby makers. You know what I mean?
Linz, what's your favorite way to maim other players?
So I like the top of the skate. So we used to not have as
That's
much
a good
pads
one, yeah.
on the top of
Ooh.
the top of the
Oh,
foot,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
little heel of your blade to the top of the foot. Oof.
Okay.
yeah,
That was a good one.
Those stung.
Back of the kneecap is good too sometimes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
An oldie but a
I
goodie.
knew you
like
were
that.
dirty. I could have watched you play a ton of games and known you were a dirty player. I knew it. I knew you had it in you.
Or like my favorite is like when people roll their sleeves up on their jerseys, like here. I'll
Oh,
intentionally
yeah.
slash the shit out of them.
Yeah.
I'm
him in
gonna
the
slash
wrist.
the shit out of you.
Especially back before elbow pads like covered the
Yeah.
whole forearm.
Yep.
When you used to have like 8-10 inches from the glove to the elbow pad. Oh man, you can really get some people.
Yeah, you can get in there. That's all
Yeah.
bone right there.
Yeah, and I
totally.
knew I deserved every cheap shot I got, so I always
Okay,
wore
fair.
those wrist protectors.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
The basketball sweat guards. Yeah, you
Yeah,
gotta
but
throw
they
those
had
in there.
pads on them. Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
I was always
I-
that shit. I was always that shithead that always went it like the ball of my stick was always out a little bit.
Oh,
So yeah, I was that asshole. So like anytime, like even if there was somebody next to me and we were like, I would chop, I was skating chopping wood and I'd notice it.
God, you're such a bender, dude.
Oh, I know. I was one of those
that's like
guys.
the bender way of getting at.
Yeah.
them.
Oh, absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
can do that like off draws, hey? So like when you choke down on your stick to win the
Yeah.
draw, you come back and the butt end of your stick right in the ear hole.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
God, I always see. I knew you were dirty, dude.
We were
You
too
never
busy
showed it.
We're too busy watching her hands. She's just coming out to our college practices, walking around all
She's
of us. and
fucking
we're like,
she's walking everybody, but in reality, she's walking around everybody like I could fuck you up, like I could get your wrist, dude. Like
yeah.
that wrist is bare.
Say the one thing that I'll talk shit like Lindsay comes out for like stickhead like practice for all of us, and she has the fucking nerve to be like, yeah, all you got to do is do this, and she's just like walking around. And we're like, oh yeah, okay, totally, yeah, we'll just do.
Yeah,
that.
no, we can do that.
Like
yeah,
she's
no,
trying,
that's
this is an entire practice dedicated to learning stick handling, and she's just like, yeah, all you got to do is this, and she fucking
Have you guys
Sounds like
have
a
you
good
tried
plan.
not sucking?
yeah.
You guys were like,
yeah,
No,
she
I
might
haven't
as well
thought of
said
that
that.
yet.
Yeah.
oh
Have
no,
you
we
just tried
tried
not
we
being
tried
bad?
that. It didn't work. Didn't work.
You tried just
Lindsay,
not being terrible. Oh fuck.
Lindsay, while we're kind of on the subject, you think you could play? You think you could play in the show right now? You think you could play?
No.
You whooping up on some of these girls right now?
My
think you
hands could.
dude.
My hands could. My feet could not.
No.
Oh, okay.
My hands and my shot could. I couldn't keep up with them. I was slow when I played.
Yeah, but I mean, but some of these girls got some hands though, right? Like I think you could fit right in there.
So so this is my take. I think us like my generation of players have better hands than this generation of players. And here's
Okay.
why.
Okay.
We all played with boys.
yeah.
Yeah.
And this new generation all grew up with the girls.
Gotcha.
So we kind of had to have hands to survive.
So
Yeah.
let's now that we're talking about women's hockey real quick, let's jump into that real quick. So we have a very first ever PWHL champion, the Minnesota hockey team, which is stupid,
Hockey
but
club.
yeah, that's super
Yep.
dumb, and their jerseys are dumb. But congratulations to them.
Hey, that'll all
after-
change here in a few weeks.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
hope so.
They're gonna-
Really, like I really
a
do
couple
because
weeks, yeah.
I want this league to succeed. I want because I'm to be honest, like it's one of those things. I think I've talked about it in a previous episode. I compare the women's hockey leagues to like the San Jose Sharks. Like, I'm not going to believe it until I see it like actually happen. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
Like forever, there was like 10 years where like, this is San Jose's year, man. Like, they're like, look at this squad. Like, they're finally going to do it. And I'm like, no, they're not going to do it. And so with women's hockey, like I made the comment earlier, like we're on our 4th or 5th acronym. That might be a bit of embellishment, but you understand, like,
right.
I need a women's professional league to like actually pick up some steam.
Okay.
And I think for the first time, despite, you know, the lacking of like identities and jerseys and everything, I feel like we're on the right track because
100%.
the attendance has been good. And we've talked about in an early episode, this is a hitting league now, which is a large reason why a lot of casual hockey fans, regardless of men and women, casual hockey fans will go watch fights and hits. That adds another layer of this as well. So I definitely am excited to and also like the champion, there was a lot of buzz around it, which is also really exciting. So I mean, Lindsay, from your perspective on it, first off, do you think that this league is for real? Or is it another, like, are we going to see another one in 3 years?
I hope like if they can keep putting this product out and grow from this and keep this type of product, I think it is.
Do you like the product as it is right now?
I think it's good. Like, I think it's good hockey. Like, I think, and wants better players like from Europe. And I think, you know, the up and comers coming through college, once they realize it's a viable league and they can go there and it's a good product. And I think it's going to even get better because people are going to trust it. Because like, I do know a lot of the really good kids went to play like in the SDHL in Sweden, some of the good kids. Right. So I think once we can start pulling from over there and getting some of those athletes back, I think it's going to be even better than what it is.
So what's it going to take? Like what
is
consistency
and support around it, like they're doing. So I think with girls hockey, for so many reasons, is such a good sport for girls to play. And I think for that to be successful, I think is just so huge. Huge. So I'm pretty excited to watch it. And I just laugh too, like the old guard is kind of going out the window. Like the women's hockey originals are finally getting out and getting out of the way.
Sure.
Which is allowing the checking, which is allowing like the extra rough stuff, like the extra hits behind the play or, you know, after the whistle and the beacon going on. Right. So, and I think that's the excitement. And I think people, like we were talking about earlier, people don't like just the blah. Like they want personality and they want stuff, and they're finally allowing that.
Can I jump on that a little bit?
Go for it.
The old guard also has kind of a negative connotation to women's hockey, right? Like not saying that like that's actually what they're thinking, but like they've been in unsuccessful leagues up till this point, right? Yeah. So, you know, we're kind of bringing in this new, like, there's people writing on the draft.
Yeah.
For the PWHL. There's literally talk of like women who have been crushing it, like you said, in the Sweden league, right? Like, you know, bringing them over, getting them on teams. Like there's such a hype to it. I mean, the crowds is one thing because they've done really good this year. They picked really good cities, right? I think they picked really good cities.
Yeah, that was good. Yep.
100%. So I just, you know, I completely agree. I think it's really gonna blow up. And you know, to Lindsay's point, I think like you're gonna see some of these girls, like, we're excited about the draft, right? Like we're excited about, you know, what do we look at even from an NHL perspective? We look at some, like, who's coming up? Connor Bedard, right? Like, you know, when Connor McDavid and those guys were coming through, right? Like we're looking at those kind of players and saying, we're ready for these guys to hit the league and bring something fresh and new to the league. And the PWHL is literally like, look at this draft class. Like there's going to be some sick girls that are coming through here that like are going to absolutely change any team that they get onto. And that is so sick to me. That is such a benefit. I think one thing for me, and this is the last thing I'll say, I don't want them to expand too fast.
No, correct.
Yep.
I want them to set a precedence. And I think this plays exactly into what Lindsay was saying. Consistency, right? Get that consistency down, make sure that it's working, get all the kinks out, and then double up, right?
Because
maybe 6 more teams in.
Lindsay, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like, I mean, up until what seems like now, like we're getting some movement, we're getting some traction, but up until now, pretty much the only time that casual hockey fans or even just a general buzz, the only time that a buzz would go around women's hockey was every 4 years during the Olympics.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's
Canada,
it. I mean,
Canada,
I'm not.
US,
I know that that's kind of mean, but it's true. It's the truth.
It's true. Totally true.
And,
It's the truth. Like,
Canada
the
US
only
women's is the best rivalry in hockey.
Sure.
bar
It's
none.
great.
Those games are unreal.
But even then, like you knew it was going to be, like it's like why are we even, why do we even have the prelims?
Right.
Like let's just have US and Canada play a 7-game series or something,
But I mean, in realistic,
Japan
that's kind of like in every women's sport, though, right? Like
Mhm.
team sport, it's
for
always
winter
US and
Yeah.
somebody.
Mhm.
So I don't know the summer sports as well, but I know that that's the case for winter sports. I don't know about summer, but
You're a track and field specialist, though. Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
I know
yeah.
you.
The shot put and the javelin and a couple
Well,
other
it's shot
track and
put
field.
for one, but
See,
proud of you for giving it a good run there.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good on
Yeah,
you.
no, I just know like so I'm out recruiting all the time, so I see
Mhm.
all the talent that's up and coming, right? So there's a
Pretty
lot
good?
of really good
Okay.
women's hockey players out there, or
Oh,
girl
I love
hockey
that.
players that are going to become women hockey players.
Sure.
Love that.
No,
Um,
and it's exciting.
the one
you gotta-
thing that does suck is when, like,
I was gonna say, what's one thing you would change, or
well, it's something that I can't change, but it's just called science. Is like women are just so much slower, right? Like those
Sure.
first few steps are so much slower. So then when you pull the cameras up, right? Like do you guys remember on the Miracle? Like
yeah,
the higher up you are, the slower the game gets. And right now we're
Mhm.
in fucking outer space, right?
right.
It kind of looks like that a little bit with the women,
Yep.
and it's pretty fast paced. But with the cameras way up there, it
Sure.
slows it down a little bit. But I think that it's also going to help the men, because I think the average watcher can go and watch the women's game and learn it. And then from what they've learned in the women's game, they can now apply that to watching NHL.
100%.
Sure.
Yep.
Well, and
And
if you're adding that physicality too, like that's
Right.
because you mentioned like the game's a bit slower, but that's from I'm not even talking from like a hockey purist perspective. I know nothing about hockey. I'm a fan of entertainment. Like
Right.
I'll watch WWE or something just solely because of the entertainment value.
Right.
Like you add the physicality in, you're adding that entertainment value. You're going to entice not even casual fans, but like people who just like an entertainment product.
Correct.
Yep. And it's so accessible. Like all the games are just on YouTube.
Mhm.
Like I don't have to have some stupid streaming service or cable package to
or
watch it.
6.
Yeah, exactly.
That's-
Like it's just
God.
they just were like, here it is, go watch it.
Yep.
And that's like been successful for them.
And they
there's-
probably need to keep it that way for a while. Like, don't jump to that.
No.
that
yeah,
other
until
stuff,
you can
right?
get an actual legitimate TV deal. Like just let people watch it, and
Right.
people will watch it. Like they were so smart to do that.
Yep.
Like and the stuff they've done with the rules, and like there's just it seems like there's a level of funding from like the Walters, and like it's the same group that owns the Dodgers. So like there's
Right.
so much money that is behind this league now, and they're not trying to like be profitable right away. Like everything they've done has been really smart.
Right.
Mhm.
And here's like the thing that I think is super cool about it. Like when you hear people talk about like basketball, for example, what are women's basketball? What are a lot of people talking about?
Caitlin Clark.
Well, and what they
Angel
look
Reese.
like. What color are they?
Yeah.
What
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
is that a woman or is that a dude? Right? Like
Mhm.
what's been super cool about the PWHL is you hear them talking about them being hockey players.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you don't hear any of that other nonsense.
Keeping the politics out of it.
Yeah.
Well, it also
which
helps
is-
that it helps a lot of them are pretty cute too.
Well, and they're wearing a cage, so you can't really see a lot of that, right?
They're-
So-
they're-
Well, but I mean,
Yeah.
but I follow a good amount of them on like Instagram and stuff because I'm a creeper.
I mean,
but,
hockey players are naturally gifted.
Yeah,
I would
and in
think
shape, man.
I would say with hockey players, it's like there's no like middle ground. It's either like you're a smoke show or it looks like your head was bounced off the face of the ice.
I don't know, dude. Like I played hockey. I'm kind of middle ground though. Like
You think so? You think
think
we don't
so,
fall
yeah.
into the bounced our head off the ice too many times category?
No.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
no way. That's not what family members have told me.
That's
That's not what his mom told him.
Yeah, it's not what my mom said to me.
You're a special boy.
You're a special boy.
That's
No,
Okay.
I honestly, I don't remember who brought it up, but like their names that they're going to put on
gonna be
these
huge.
jerseys next year.
They got to
is
knock it out of the
huge.
park.
They got to knock it out of the park because we've talked about it before. Riveters was so fucking sick.
Rivers is
Right?
so cool. I loved that.
You know,
Will they
like
be able to use that again, or is that like a
No,
no,
like its own.
no,
it's
they-
owned by
Yeah, it's
somebody.
probably trademark issues and
I
boring.
know it's a shame.
yeah,
And,
it's a
like,
shame because that isn't.
This
The,
is
River,
sick.
the Riveters was
That's a
sick.
sick
Like that was
fucking name.
so cool. They
Yeah.
need if they can double down on that stuff and like make it a very cool thing. It's the sky's the limit, and I do hope it grows, and it's gonna be a good thing, honestly. Okay, rounding out the end of the show, we've got a couple more rapid fires, but you know what? We haven't had an episode in a while, so let's run it long. Why not?
Sure.
We've got
unless Lindsay's got bet she's got D3 hockey at fucking
that's
5
right.
a.m.
Hey,
That's
it's
all we know.
summertime.
Hey, there you go.
Oh, hey, field hockey.
She's just got to travel to 9 cities for recruiting and
Right.
watch
Yeah, like,
18
you
hours
just-
of film. And
Right, you just got a bunch of shit to do tomorrow. But yeah, let's hold her up.
No, it's fine. It's all good.
No big deal.
Yeah. Let's go a little north. Shout out to the Saginaw team for winning the Memorial Cup.
Oh yeah.
yeah, they won it on
Did you-
home ice, which is
Good
rare.
for them. Good for them. And that was like a last minute goal too.
Yep.
pretty sick.
They have a very good draft eligible defenseman. They got a couple good draft eligible dudes in there, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do.
Lead scout for the Ducks, Taylor Wells, looking a little bit.
No, I just started my if I actually could make any conjugal words
Okay,
and put them into a fucking
sure.
newspaper article of any sort,
Great.
I would, but I can't. So Zane Parekh is actually a really good defenseman.
Okay.
He needs a little bit of defense, but he could easily be the next Erik Karlsson. So
Okay. I like that.
There you
Taylor's
go.
our
No pressure,
resident
kid.
expert on.
no pressure.
Just need
put
you to
up-
win 3 Norrises.
Yeah, just put up 102 points in 82 games or whatever the fuck he did
Basically, I
last
need
year.
you to be the next coming of Nick Lindstrom. No big deal.
No, nobody likes that.
No. Oh
That's
yeah,
right.
it's frowned upon. No, because nobody can beat.
Everyone hates the Detroit Red Wings. So.
That's
And the right to do so.
you're not. You're all not. As a Red Wings fan, you're all not wrong. So,
Correct.
I understand it, and I sympathize. So shout out to Saginaw team. That's pretty cool. We're gonna get some new jerseys here. This is bittersweet. I think everybody's focusing on the positives of the excitement of getting new revamped jerseys when we switch companies. They do this every time. The bad news on this is the company is Fanatics. And Fanatics are mostly known for their brand of off-brand sports merchandise. They donate, like they make the merch of the losing team for every sport that goes to Africa. Like,
hey, you know what? Actually, though, that means they're doing some good.
you think
Yeah,
so?
They're a humanitarian organization.
That's right. They're not actually a sports apparel organization. They're just a humanitarian.
And they made all the baseball pants that you can see the dude's junk. So
Yeah, you can see-
really.
Okay.
So they're
Hey.
the winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I'm hearing a lot of positives here.
This is
boys.
like, okay, so actually,
We're
Fanatics
a lot
want
is
to talk
great.
about growing the game.
Yeah.
Show
Oh,
some
That's
dude's
growing.
Junk and,
That's growing. It
you
could
know,
be
you
shrinking
just make
too,
see-through baseball pants, and
Mhm.
God.
yeah,
So
Yeah,
they're making the NHL jerseys.
they are.
Yes,
Yes.
Fanatics,
Yeah, they signed-
Fanatics is now taking it over next year. Most
So buy your jerseys now
Yeah,
while
get
they're
them
still
in.
Yeah, don't.
While they're-
disintegrate
while they're-
in the water.
mildly warm.
Remember the old starter jerseys that we had growing up in the 90s and early 2000s? Think of those, but worse.
Oh,
Nah, dude,
awesome.
Yeah,
I was rich. I was
They're
rich.
gonna be
dude.
bad.
Yeah,
Oh,
we all
that
thought
might
we were real
be-
cool.
That might be a way to get some more viewership is see through
Yeah.
stuff.
100%,
Okay.
dude.
All right.
100%. I think both the NHL and the PWHL should
Sex
get
sells, man.
Fanatics going.
Sex sells.
You know what? Come on, baby.
The NHL, the two leagues, they do like a joint nudie calendar.
Yeah. Why are these pants so matte? You know what I mean? Like There needs to be a little bit of less guesswork.
God. Yeah, well,
Mhm.
that apparently Fanatics. See, we're all sitting here saying like they're opening up the sport, adding some sex sells into the league, but really they're just incompetent.
Yeah, no, they like it didn't even get brought up in their fucking meeting. They just somebody on the line was
So
like, you know
bad.
what? Let's just throw mesh on there, huh? There, everybody was like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah,
We got- we
it was just that they were cheaper. Like
Pick this really thin
50%
fabric up.
less fabric, perfect.
Went to Joanne Fabrics and picked this up. This will work.
Sure. Shout out to Joanne's.
Show is not sponsored by Joanne Fabrics, although we will reach out here after the show.
Not yet.
Not yet.
So we're gonna get some new old logos.
Right. We're definitely not getting sponsored by Fanatics, that's for sure.
Mhm.
But of the news that comes out, everybody's trying to find the few positives in this, and two fan bases that sound very excited about getting new crap jerseys are the Ducks and the Kings. It has basically been confirmed by the jersey. There's like a Twitter account that Hockey Insiders are hit and miss. This account for some reason has an inside scoop on just jerseys, and they're almost always right. So the word is, and it's basically been confirmed, that the Ducks and the Kings will have revamped jerseys completely. And both have really needed a rebrand. Linz, what did you think of the old Duck? Like, what did you think of the duck foot? Bad? Okay, bad.
Yeah, I do like the Ducks. Their style is not very good.
No, it's terrible. They were the worst jerseys in the league.
I like that logo behind Taylor.
No,
that's a good logo.
No, I hate
it's okay.
It's better than what they had.
It's a good secondary. Like it should be
okay.
Like the duck foot should be that, but they need to go back to the Mighty Duck, like with the mask. No, okay, all right.
Isn't that what they're doing?
Yes, they are.
They're gonna go back. So I was like, isn't that the logo I saw? Okay.
Yeah, it sounds like that. Well, they haven't released anything, but it sounds like they're gonna go.
Timu's got the duck foot. I don't have an old one
duck
right now.
foot and the orange. I'm sorry, Philadelphia's orange. Don't go into orange. There's no team in the league.
But they will. They will. So we're getting people excited. All right, cool. Yeah, I'll talk on it because I love to hear my own voice.
Yeah, go for it. Tell me about the Ducks jerseys, Taylor.
So the Ducks jerseys, they're going to be orange because the Samuelis love the Orange County connection here. It's going to be orange. There's a very good chance that it's going to be either this logo, as I just destroy everything.
And that's fine.
There's a very good chance it's going to be that logo, or it's going to be the old, Mighty Wing. It's going to be that old, the old Mighty Duck logo, but it's going to be just the orange ones that they've kind of been doing. As for the Kings, I absolutely hate the Kings, but if they throw a little purple into that redesign, I won't be that bad because
I like that Kings logo though. Like, and I'm sure it's just like everything was cooler when you were a kid, but I mean,
Kings logo,
I like that. Money. I like that.
I think they need to be purple, and I don't know. The shield, like any team that does a shield, and Lindsay backed me up. It just makes it. Yeah, it's lazy. Like if you do like a shield, like it's just I don't even like even with Florida, like I want them to go back to the cat, like the jumping cat. Mm-hmm. Like that's better to me.
Okay, off topic.
Yeah.
Best logo hockey all time. Go.
All time? Oof. I'm all for nostalgia.
Oh, I was gonna say, okay, let's eliminate all original 6 teams. You can't name an original 6 team.
Okay,
you can't
that's
say
fair.
the Rangers.
That's okay. Yeah, that's okay.
You can't say the Red Wings. You can't say the Hawks. You can't say the Rangers. Can't say the Canadians. Can't say the Leafs. Can't say the Bruins.
Do they have to be active, or is this like old?
It has to be active.
Okay.
Oh, active. Okay.
Oh, it has to be active?
Wow, you're really fucking pushing the bill, dude.
All time.
Okay. Got to be active, but
Lindsay said all time.
Okay. I'll give you the out, though. If the organization has used the logo in the past, and I mean that by extensions as well. So, like, if you want to throw in the North Stars logo, that's fine because the team still is technically active. They just moved.
Okay. My favorite logo of all time is the Hartford Whalers.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Fuck, I was gonna take that. All right, let me think of a different one. That is a very good one.
Whalers are pretty good.
No, it's pretty good. I do like the Canucks skate one.
Yeah,
And I
that's a good
know
one.
I know it's not
Okay.
one that like everyone really likes, but I think that's hockey, baby. You know, that's just, to me, Pavel Bure was my favorite player growing up.
Wow.
And to
Okay.
me,
There you
that's
go.
that's the skate, right? So for me, it's that logo, and yeah, there's a lot of good ones, but that's a good one.
Okay. Lindsay, you got?
So I got it. The North Stars logo.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
Like everybody knows who.
It's
It's
fair.
just
That
simple.
one's slick
Yep.
It's just
with the N and the star. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, that's nice.
Okay. I like that.
How about yours?
Oh, shit. Okay, so I can't say the Red Wings. Like, I'm sorry. That's iconic. Like, it's very unique.
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
Boo.
You were the one that
But-
said no original.
I know. So I'm not. So I'm
Yeah,
not
you
saying the Red
fucking
Wings. So I'm not
loser.
saying the Red Wings. I'll kind of go off the grid here for a second. I really do like the Kachina Coyote.
I got one of those, babe.
I love that as a jersey. I don't know how much of that. I can't separate how much
like-
of that is
'cause
the
it's like
jersey
2D.
and how much
It's
of
like
that is the
2D and
logo.
flat, but like he's still moved. I don't know. I think it's very unique.
So
it's got
what
some
you
personality
know
to
what? Let me argue for it real quick. It does actually, like, you drive around, you're around Phoenix, you're in the Arizona area. Like, it definitely is kind of the native people of the land,
Sure.
right?
Okay.
So like a lot of the native folks, like, it was just kind of block lettering and that 2D design. So I do like it with the background. Is it the best logo? Not really, right? Like, us four could create that. Right, like so like that's kind of how I look at that. But I still think it's great. It's a great jersey. I got it in my fucking closet, so I can't even complain.
It's up there. I'll give maybe I'll give a special nod to. Honestly, I do like the Kraken.
I was just gonna say.
I was
the
gonna
Kraken
say it's
are
like,
regional
the
bias,
Kraken,
but the
like,
Kraken,
Not to
Sure,
sound like a
sure.
homer, but damn, man, like that's a slick logo.
That's pretty.
even though it
colors
does
are
look like
epic.
the cool S I drew on my pencil cover in
Mhm.
like
the 90s S,
1999.
Yeah,
it
the
looks-
1, 2, 3,
yeah, it's-
3,
yeah.
1.
it
yeah.
does look like the cool S, but like also there's a lot going on, and it's really slick.
I think of like the new age logos, like the Kraken take the cake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Totally.
that's
the
fair.
red eye, for me. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's genius.
I was gonna say, like, honestly, like, we've been very lucky to, like, all the new teams that have come out recently have like knocked it away. Vegas is, say what you will
disagree,
about
but-
Vegas and the colors.
Isn't
Like,
Vegas? Vegas is a fucking. What
It's
were we
a
just talking
fucking,
about?
it's a helmet.
It's
It's
a helmet. It's a shield.
but it's got the like I don't know. I guess it's not
It's the
supposed.
whole product.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get, like, their branding wise, they do a good job with that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Other than that, I don't know. Okay, let's reverse it. Worst one, your least favorite. What's the worst logo?
the Colorado
Wings.
Avalanche.
Ooh.
Really?
Hate that logo.
Really?
Yeah, I think that
Oh,
logo.
with the A and with the A and the.
yes, I think that's.
Really?
I think
I
that
don't.
logo
I don't love
that
it,
logo
but
sucks.
I guess I don't hate it.
I don't hate that one. Yeah,
I think they're like desperately in a rebrand. The other one I don't like is I don't like the new Stars logo.
Yeah.
The D with
Yeah.
the stars.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I feel that one.
That's
The other one for me is the Oilers had like I think it was a third jersey for a little bit, but it's literally like it's the Comet,
Oh
but it's
yeah.
like dark fucking blue and just uglier than shit. That one's terrible.
The Blue Jackets, terrible.
Oh,
Blue Jackets
yeah.
are bad. They should just make it the fucking cannon, dude. Make it the cannon and call it a day.
The cannon that looked like a dick. Is that the
Blue
one?
Yeah, dude, dick it up.
that,
You know
that-
what? If you
because
know what?
the Cannon jersey is kind of cool.
Yeah, like if you're gonna sell jerseys, it might as well look like a fucking
Okay.
phallus.
Yeah, yeah. Might as well be phallic. All right, Lindsay, what's your worst favorite logo?
I think I gotta go the Blue Jackets.
Yeah,
It's-
I can't.
it's
That
rough.
one's terrible.
It's
just because
rough.
I'm looking at a list on it, one that I think is I like the Sabres because it's like we're the Buffalo Sabres. We have a buffalo and we have some swords. There's no mistaking what this team is.
Gotta be the Sabres, right?
It is
gotta-
so clear
they
and
need a
concise. Like,
They need to rebrand. They need to go back to the black and silvers. And I know that that's
No.
nostalgia, but they need to go back to the
They
black. and
they
silvers.
interview some people on the street and they're like, "Yeah, that's the That's the sword bison.
Sword bison. Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know here. Because I have a lot, like, there's a lot that I don't mind, and there's a few that I like, and there's a lot that I don't like. The Capitals are just dumb. The Capitals one is dumb.
The Eagle Capitals one is sick though.
That one's okay,
Yeah.
but that's not their primary logo.
Yeah, but that's
their
a good
primary
one,
is that the thing that just says Washington Capitals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
but people in DC need to be able to read.
Well, you're asking a lot right there.
I mean, a team that needs a rebrand is the Minnesota Wild, because there's so much going on with that logo that, like, number one, they need to just make their reverse retro like the green and yellow. They need to just make that need to just make that their primary color scheme. Get rid of like the darker colors, and they need to redo the logo, because there's so much going on. It's not a bear, it's the Wild, and I hate it. Like it's so much. It reads so much as like an advertiser pitching, like, no, this isn't a bear. This is the Wild of Minnesota, and this river represents the 10,000 lakes, and these are the tree. And it's like, shut the fuck up.
That doesn't.
Who are you talking to, Eric? Because you sound pissed.
And look, I'm sorry, but the duck foot is just shit. Like, it's just not good.
Let me kick him.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me kick him from the feed.
Counterpoint. Counterpoint. I get it.
It's not good. I don't like it.
I know you don't like it. No, I know.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah,
the Nordics is a good one too. It
is. They should bring that fucker back. I've seen a lot ever since Utah got a team. I've seen a lot of Quebec people coming out of the fucking woodwork. A lot of French Canadians coming out of the woods saying they need a hockey team, and I don't disagree. It's weird that they don't have a team. You don't think so?
No, because those people are
Winnipeg
already
has a team.
Yeah, but like they're already like the people in Quebec is just not a big enough market. There's not enough people.
So hey, rapid fire on this.
And there's not enough people, and those people are already watching hockey. Like how many new fans?
You don't want to split that market.
Do you get going back to Quebec? I get that they want to, and like you mentioned Winnipeg, they want to get out of Winnipeg too. Remember they were talking about this team attendance is down, and if attendance is down, then there's not the corporate base to support a team in Winnipeg.
I would love the chaos of 2 Toronto teams, because that was rumored for a second.
That is.
So that's why they'll go to Atlanta and Houston and all these other places before they go back to Quebec, because there's more people there. You can grow the game.
Gary's favorite team is money, baby.
Yeah. My claim to fame was I did play in the midget AAA tournament in Quebec. Okay. It was a fucking blast, dude. There's so many hockey fans there. It's stupid.
Yeah,
it's stupid.
It's not a knock on the fans in Quebec. It's just it would be the smallest market.
Oh, I'll knock
by
on
a lot.
Oh, really? Even smaller than Winnipeg?
I believe so.
Shit. All right, let's confirm that.
I can that pretty easily.
Real quick, we got 2 things. While we're on the subject of logos, rapid fire. Tell me what you like most: Utah Blizzard, Hockey Club, Mammoth, Outlaws, Venom, Yeti.
Ooh, Yeti. I'm sending that to Lindsay. Yeti? Okay. Yeti is my second favorite. I love the Outlaws. I think that's a good one.
The Outlaws are my close favorites.
Yeah. It's Outlaws then Yeti for me, but I could switch those up. Those are two. Yep. Those are fucking money.
I'm on team not Utah Hockey Club. Pick a logo. And also, Taylor, there are 200,000 more people in Winnipeg than in Quebec.
There you go. Oh, okay. So
the province of Quebec?
Yeah,
Let me look at
the city of Quebec City, or
that's a much better
province of Quebec.
That's a much better Tinder, right? Like you add 200,000 to the pool,
because there's Quebec City and there's the province.
So the population of Quebec, population of Saskatchewan.
Okay, anyway, so I think I'm gonna have to go Outlaws too, with Yeti as a second, Mammoth third, Blizzard.
Mammoth third. I like Mammoth third too.
Blizzard Phenom Utah Hockey Club.
I just
They
don't
can't-
like odd, like obscure, like the Wild. Like what is it? The
Yes,
Blizzard.
yeah.
Like what?
Agreed.
Like what's your logo? Like if you're the Blizzard, your logo's going to be a Yeti.
Right.
So why not just say the Yeti?
I like it. Yeah, I don't. If they go Yeti, I don't.
Pull that up.
I think that's
Can you
great.
pull that up, Chance? Do you have it up where it
No,
shows all
the
options?
last time that I tried to pull something up, my entire system died, so I'm not gonna pull anything up right now.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, here on.
What just
here-
baffles me is that you're going to go for a whole season. Like the P-Dub going a whole season is different because they just don't have the fan base that's
Sure.
buying things. You're going to go
Yeah.
a whole season of the Utah Hockey Club.
They
So dumb.
wouldn't though, right? Like, come on, they cannot. Do
They
that.
are. They are.
It seems like they are for the
like it's
for the-
they're
God, that's
even
fucking
they're even rolling
dumb.
out these generic like Utah hockey, and it's just got like the state of Utah.
Yeah.
Here's my
so
thing
dumb.
though, right? Like you
So
you
dumb.
pick one of these names, right? You pick the Yeti, you pick the Outlaws, you pick the Mammoth, and the fans hate it, right? How much money can you make off of those fucking jerseys and all of that merchandise that says the first year?
No one's gonna buy
Mammoth.
these things.
No, they
No
they
one-
absolutely will. They're
They
going to be
absolutely
collector's
will.
items.
They're
It's going to be like
collector's
the. It's gonna be. They're gonna be a thing that someone's gonna buy, and then in 10 years you're gonna be like, oh shit, that's the year they weren't a team, like
Yes.
whatever.
I
They're
hate
gonna
it.
buy
I
them,
would
and then it's gonna be nostalgia.
I hate
I'd
it.
rock a
100%.
fucking Utah Swarm puck on my fucking windowsill, right? Like, because the Swarm is garbage. That's a terrible one or Wasp or whatever the fuck it is.
The Wasp.
I would rock one of those pucks on my fucking windowsill because I know that sucker's going to be worth 6 times as much in 10 years. And there's people out there that are just way more degenerates than me, dude.
Fair.
Like, just pick a fucking name. If it doesn't play well, right? You're literally in a stadium where they're selling seats that they on their fucking season ticket holder
Are
passes.
obstructed.
Obstructed view. They're literally selling tickets where you cannot see a quarter of the ice. That's
Lindsay,
insanity, dude.
Lindsay Taylor has taken a vow to hate the Utah team. So just FYI.
Well,
I
don't.
hate
what,
them
that
less,
like came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like, how did that happen? Does
It's-
anybody
it's-
know?
It's less of me. Yeah, we've talked about it in previous episodes. Like, it's less of me hating the Utah team. It's more of just like we had to sacrifice Arizona to get them, and that's what upsets me.
Yeah.
Like I'm totally okay with Utah having a team. I love when the game spreads, but we lost Phoenix to do it, and that sucks to me because
Well,
34.
I got good news in 5 years.
that's
Yeah.
No.
34,000.
I think it's shorter than that. He's not gonna meet his
pre-order
first
season
deadline.
tickets. No, he
I
knows,
still
dude.
think the Utah team should be the Storm and Mormons. That's my.
yeah.
Fuck yeah. And their
Just
yeah,
own it.
hell yeah. And their jerseys should be all white with one little black tie in the front, dude.
I think they should follow the
100%.
jazz. They should follow the jazz and just adopt a genre of music that did not originate in Utah. Like, just be like the Utah ska
blues? Oh.
and
Utah
just,
Christian soul.
just pick like the Utah R&B and just
Sure.
appropriate
No, I like
another
that.
genre of music that didn't originate where you
What
are.
does R&B stand for?
Going for the Super Soakers, folks. It's got to be the Utah Super
Uh,
Soakers.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's-
there it is.
That's pretty rowdy.
There's
That's
the-
pretty rowdy.
There's that. Okay, we got one more thing, and then we can sign off here. It wouldn't be the Dusty Bender podcast if we didn't talk about a little Kraken stuff. And they have just hired a new coach after years of us shouting that Dave
Thank
Hagstall
God.
was not the guy. They have now brought in another guy, Dan
They
Billsman.
searched far and wide.
Yes,
They
all,
also-
Many interviews.
all the way to
they
their
also-
AHL team.
Before we really dig into it, they also hired a lady assistant coach.
I don't think
Did they
that that's
hire?
been
Did they
confirmed
hire
yet.
her or did they just say that?
I
she's
saw she
I-
was like in contention.
Yeah,
I
I
thought-
think
Oh,
I think
she's
they're-
not official.
no. So I think what the thing here
I'm
is that
working too much.
I think they're trying to figure out whether she's going to go to the Kraken or she might take over the head coach place in Coachella.
Oh, either way.
So
Either
right,
way.
like it's going to be a promotion for her. I don't see her like just staying as the assistant in Coachella because that team has done too well. Like
Yeah,
that
they're
team is-
back. Right?
yeah,
They were up three rip last I looked, so I think they're going back to the ship.
yeah, they swept Milwaukee to get to there. So It's a good team. I mean, let's look at that roster.
Yeah.
Like how many of those guys on that Coachella team are making the Kraken roster next year? Like 4?
Dude, they got Devin Shore, dude. That's a hell of a team.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good squad. So, Bylsma, and Aaron can pull up some stats on him, but it's the guy has a mixed history. Like he inherited. He was one of those mid-season coaches that turned things around for the Penguins and got them that cup in 2009 after going back-to-backs with the Red Wings, and then lasted like 2 years and then got axed. And then went into the meat grinder with Buffalo and just got absolutely hammered. And then he spent like I think he was an assistant coach for the Red Wings under Bylsma, who was also during the Dead Wing era. I mean, he's got a cup, which is not nothing. I mean, he did inherit.
He's got a cup and a Jack Adams.
Yeah.
So
he did inherit a very stacked 2009 Pittsburgh Penguins team, but
yeah,
that's beside the point. Like, I mean, could have been done by anybody, and you gotta, he's, Craig Berube just got a job with Toronto for basically doing the same thing with the Blues. So,
so for his career, his record as a head coach across his 2 stints, 320, 190, and 55. He's got a 615 points percentage for his career as a head coach. Again, the majority of those were with prime Sidney Crosby. And, now he's got Matty Bernier, so it's basically the exact same. So
yeah,
I'm sure he'll have the same level of success.
1-to-1, 1-to-1. Shane Wright and Matty Beniers are Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin. So obviously, yeah.
I did see on HF boards, some disgruntled Rangers fan tried to say Mika Zibanejad for Shane Wright. Like, who says no?
Who says no?
Which was
I take that.
No one.
No one said funny.
No one.
Yeah, no. Let's make it happen, guys.
So
can we? Let's push that, huh?
Yeah.
Let's move to Twitter and make it happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. To Linz, because NHL GMs do very much care about the opinion of Twitter. Linz, do you know how closely to follow the Kraken nowadays?
Yeah, not very.
Okay. All right. Is there anything other than
I do know that Yamamoto wasn't playing very much at the end.
That's right. Yeah. He wasn't. Unfortunate.
And
our Spokane boy.
Hackstall didn't like Yamamoto.
Hack was a fucking joke, dude.
Yeah. When you don't start the Spokane boy, you're an idiot. Hacked.
Yeah.
Yamo is
chopped.
I understand. Listen. As Taylor, I'm not going to mention that I skated with him when I grew up.
Yeah, you just did, but
did I do that? But yeah,
skated circles around you.
Him and his brother kicked the shit out of. They were playing up. Mm-hmm. They played up anyway. Taylor said that.
They were like 6. You were like 17,
18.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. I think it was like they were squirt rep and we were second year Pee Wee rep, and
you were in college.
They played up and just kicked him.
Chance was trying to spear him but couldn't catch him.
Hey, get back here! I'm trying to hurt you.
Right. No, definitely couldn't catch the kid.
You did really well.
Him or his brother. So I mean, I understand that Yamo's a one-dimensional player. He's a small, fast guy that scores goals. So he's not good in all situations. I get that, but like when he's putting up more goals than your second line center, Alex Wenberg. Lindsay, if you haven't noticed, there's a pattern here developing that I don't like Alex Wenberg.
Dude, Wenberg just catching fucking strays out here. God damn, dude. Poor guy.
Wait, it's almost the end of the episode. We haven't found a way to bring this all back to John Gibson. So
no, it's definitely we'll get there.
We'll figure it out.
Keep going.
Anyway, no, we definitely were very critical of Hackstall his entire tenure with the Kraken. We disagreed with a lot of the times of how he rolled people out. There were some interesting coaching decisions that he had, and I don't know if that was an upstairs decision or him just like not trying to give up on Grubauer, but man, he should have. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of weird decisions that he made that it seemed like he was playing more for heart and less of wanting to win. And unfortunately, when you're a new team in the NHL, you've got to be good early. Otherwise, the franchise is going to struggle. So, do I love the pick for Dan? No. But do I hate it? No. Like it feels like this is like a safe pick. of like, oh, he's got a lot of success in the AHL with our AHL team, and it's finally time to give Dan another shot. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, but to me, that's very much we don't want to spend a lot of money kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Morgan and I were talking about this tonight. I love the Dan Bylsma pick. I think that's great.
Okay.
I'm very curious to see what he's going to do. Right, like he's had teams where he had fucking stars. Right, like he was in the Crosby Malkin beginning, but he was in that era. Right, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do with. Look, if you are a Seattle Kraken fan and you think that Matty Beniers and Shane Wright are going to be Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin, I've got bad news for you.
Let me set you up.
I've got really bad news.
Let me set you up for that point because I know you're kind of rounding in on it. So one of the things that Dan that kind of killed his pro career and had to, do a lot of repair in the assistant and AHL was that famously, Jack Eichel would not play for him.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big thing of Jack's I will not play for this guy when this is, many, many years ago when Jack was still with Buffalo. But that was the big thing is they basically got rid of Dan because Jack Eichel's no, I will not fucking play with this guy.
Yeah, but Jack Eichel was super immature at that point, right?
Sure.
So I'll defend Dan again.
Okay.
He really hasn't had a ton in Coachella, and he's about to do it 2 years in a row.
Yep.
Right. He has a good crop of young guys. He's got some guys like Devin Shore and some of these guys that, have played in the NHL before. Sure. Right. I get that. But you got to be able to mesh these guys together. And he's been able to do that. And there's one thing that the Kraken do have, and it's second to third line players. Right. And that's essentially what the AHL is. Right. That's what the AHL is. And they're bringing in this guy who can do that. To me, it really, and this is what Morgan and I were talking about tonight. It really does come down to Francis because you cannot just roll this fucking roster back again.
Nope.
Right? You have to bring in somebody, and Marty.
You need a star.
You need a star. And not to say that Marty Necas is a fucking star, but you need to start bringing in these kind of players who have that potential to start elevating this roster outside of Burakovsky, who no one else really wanted. Bjorkstrand, who was a statistic darling, who no one else fucking wanted. Yeah. Right? So, you need to start bringing in these players who,
you need a 40-goal scorer that's not Jared McCann.
100%. And not saying that Marty Necas is, but you got to start thinking in that sort of respect because you can't bring in Dan Bylsma and go, do what we've been doing with this fucking roster, but do it better. Right? You can't continue to do that. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens. But I do think Danny's got it in his loins. So we'll see.
Okay.
You guys are looking at this way differently than I was. I look at him as you're the developmental coach before we get the coach to be competitive. Sure. Your job is to get Matty Beniers and Shane Wright and Carson Rankoff and Devin Shore. Your job is to develop them into your job is to develop them and get them.
But can't you do that in the AHL?
Well, but those get Shane Wright's not in the AHL. Matty Beniers isn't you're the guy.
He won't be. He is currently, but
no, but that's what I'm saying is you're the developmental head coach that your job is Anaheim's going through it right now. San Jose is going to go through it. Detroit went through it a couple years ago. Your job is to get the prospects into the NHL and developing. And then when we think we're going to be competitive, you're probably not the head coach.
Sure.
And I get that. I feel like Francis is a little disconnected in that regard.
Okay.
Right. So you're coming from Carolina to where Carolina, he essentially built a perennial competitor. Yep. Right. So in Francis's opinion, the Kraken won a first round playoff last year, right? Mm-hmm. They should be in let's fucking go mode.
Let's not do a one-hit wonder. Let's make this a real thing.
Exactly. So in his mind, right,
I got
like
bad news
Dan
about who's
is
on
the
the
guy,
roster.
right? Like, and I don't disagree with you. I disagree with Francis in his thought process, and we have all year, right? We've always said if the Kraken want to actually get to that level, they aren't there yet, right? They're 5 years out. Them building with Matty Beniers and Shane Wright is literally getting to actually competing in the fucking playoffs, right? Like, what we're doing right now is just kind of fun for the fan base and building a fucking realistically season ticket holders, right? Like that's what we did last year. So yeah, I agree. I agree, but I think Dan Bilesma, he might be that Torts where like they can dip a little bit and then they're not going to make it, or they can dip a little bit, they're going to make it, they're going to get beat in the first round, but just keep adding those young players like Yager. I don't want to call him Yager, but it's Jaeger.
I want to say Yager.
I think it's the redheaded kid. He's fucking good, dude.
Jaeger.
There you go.
Yeah, they've got like there's prospects to be excited about, and that's why I think. And maybe again, you might be right. I may just be thinking about it different than Ron Francis, which I've thought differently than Ron Francis ever since he hired Dave Haxall. So that
it's worked
out
really
of my way.
You,
but
you're living a better life. But
yeah, that's right. Yeah, but like this seems like a team that's like trying to build through the draft, and now is the point where you got to start bringing the kids in. And you got to have a coach to shepherd them to the next level, and that's where I think Dan Bilesma fits.
There's going to be 3 to 5 Coachella players on like full-time that will be full-time NHL players next year.
And what does this Kraken system need? It needs a defenseman. And where they're drafting this year,
here we go.
They're going to get a good D.
Fault.
Well, Jamie Elysiak is the best defenseman that they have on the team.
I thought you liked Nick Lindstrom types. We have Jamie Alexiak.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Those guys are absolutely the same. Yeah, absolutely.
No, it's 100%. The same player.
Yeah, except Alexiak's probably better offensively. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Fuck that Nick Lindstrom guy.
Yeah, Nick Lindstrom sucks.
Swedish piece of shit.
Yeah, that guy's a joke. I hope all of his businesses fail. But this is the draft to do it, right? Like if you're gonna bring in an NHL ready prospect on the back end, this is the draft to do it. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. Fair. Lindsay, you got anything to add to all of that ranting?
I just don't understand why they got to keep grabbing coaches from the same pool. Like all these old crotchety old men. Like there's a billion not a billion. There's hundreds of thousands of coaches out there, and you keep grabbing from the same 50 or 60.
Wait, Lindsay, give us a name that like nobody else knows that you would have just plugged into that.
Oof. How about Hastings from Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I like that one. Okay.
Everywhere he goes, he wins, and he wins with nothing. You want to talk about developing talent?
What is Lindsay? Do you know anything about the AHL assistant coach? What's her name?
I don't. Yeah, Campbell? I don't even know her.
Jessica Campbell.
There you go.
I'd have to Google her.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious myself.
She looks like
I don't even know where she played. Like the name doesn't even ring a bell, and she.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
She played for Cornell.
That's why I don't know her.
Nerd. What a nerd, dude.
It's like the WCHA for women is like the guy. Like, that's who wins the championships all the time. So none of us paid any attention to those.
We don't care about those girls.
All right,
especially the Brainiacs.
Yeah, 3-year member of Team Saskatchewan, twice serving as captain, represented Saskatchewan at the U18 championship. Was part of Hockey Canada's Pursuit of Excellence team.
Damn, do you know her or something?
I'm reading off her Wikipedia.
You're pumping her up, dude. You're pumping her tires up.
2010, she finished second in scoring and helped the Pursuit of Excellence win the 2010 Challenge Cup of the Junior Women's Hockey League.
There you go.
JWHL.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Then you said Cornell, Big Red. She scored a hat trick against blah, blah, blah. And then she was in the CWHL. Whatever that is.
Yep.
Okay.
That was like one of the originals.
Campbell helped the Calgary Inferno capture the first ever Clarkson Cup championship in 2016.
There you go.
Oh, damn.
And then international play, Canadians women's now the U18 team, 2010 IIHF Women's U18 World Championship in Chicago. She was the captain, led all players in scoring.
She's a pretty good hockey player.
Yeah.
Mark graduates from Cornell.
Yeah, everything I read, she has the attention. You know what I mean? Like everybody is just like, yeah, let's listen to what she has to say.
So
right?
I think so I've coached guys before.
Sure.
And it oddly, like, if you're the right fit, like, guys' attention, like, because it's a different view, right? And like, I think their whole life, like, let's be honest, like, guys are mama's boys, right? Girls are daddy's girls, right? So
that's a good point.
Oddly enough, like, if you get, I mean, you can say that with about anybody. You get the right fit in there, and it's going to go really well.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and she's obviously doing well in Coachella. She's obviously doing well in Coachella.
Yeah, yeah. And again, everybody's like, "Oh, assistant coach is awesome." Like, look at how well they're doing. And being an assistant coach is like the best thing ever on the planet. Like, it is the best job. Like, you're gonna be everybody's friends. You don't have to make decisions.
Yeah.
And then suddenly you're making decisions as a head coach, and things change a lot.
So, yeah.
A lot.
You get to stop just being good cop all the time.
Yeah,
you
like,
got to start
sometimes
coming down on
are
people.
Like, there's a lot of people that are just really good assistants, and that's okay because that's almost more important.
Yeah,
you need those people, right?
And there's nothing wrong with that. So that's like that kind of like fine line. Like, do you throw somebody that's a great assistant into the role of head coach, and that like that's a very delicate thing, I think.
Yep.
That really puts emphasis on the interview process, right? Like, can you go from the yes person to you got to make some hard decisions and actually try to lead this team?
And then be okay when people, like, the biggest reason I see women coaches get out of coaching is because you have to be an arrogant prick to be a coach.
Yeah.
Like, you do.
That says a lot about you.
Yeah.
And
Rightfully so, though, right? Rightfully so.
Because everybody criticizes your every move.
Sure.
And a lot of women take all that stuff to heart, right?
Right.
Yeah.
No, that's fair. So, okay, if you were like, say you're Ron Francis and you want to do something, like, you've just made this promotion. There's a vacancy in Coachella, but also, obviously, she worked well with Dan. Like, do you keep her as an assistant coach in the AHL? Do you promote her to the head coach of the AHL team, or do you bring her with Dan as an assistant to the Kraken?
I think you bring her with Dan as an assistant to the Kraken.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
I mean,
100%.
Obviously, they have a good, like, to have a good head coach assistant coach relationship that works well with the team. I think that's choose, because from what I've read about Dan is he's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
From my understanding, correct?
From what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
And so if you have like a female role that can be like that the mama's boy, right? Like,
sure,
you can be more of an asshole over here.
Balances them out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, I think, I mean, you moved Dan up because of his success at Coachella, and especially if he is just squawk boxing, like, yeah, she's like a big part of the reason that we had success at Coachella. Why the fuck not?
Right.
Like,
maybe what they were doing is grooming her to be the head coach. So if that's the case, and they're grooming her and she's making decisions, and Dan trusts the decisions that she's making, then maybe I think it just depends what they were grooming her to do.
Right, because that's their funnel, right?
Were they just checking a box to have a female as a coach, and then it worked out, and they're like, they weren't really doing anything with her? Like, then I think you obviously move her up as an assistant coach with Dan.
Or is she the funnel, right? Like, you put her into that head coach spot at Coachella.
I lean toward that.
She's just getting players prepared for Dan's system, Yeah.
I lean towards that because so she goes in, she starts funneling the players to the system. But if the success continues in Coachella, like if they continue to just make the playoffs all the time and move, then that sets her up perfectly for if and when Dan fucks. I mean, it's not a question of if, it's a question of when. This is the NHL. Like coaches only last like, on average 2 to 4 years.
Well, you
like,
get hired to get fired as a coach,
right?
right?
Yeah.
Right.
You
So
got a shelf life.
like
Yeah.
if she can take the head coach position in Coachella and she can have that good relationship with Dan while it's happening, plink players back and forth, and Coachella can still have the consistency and the success that it's had under Dan, it kind of sets her up for that role, if that makes any sense, to move up to maybe that head coach spot.
Yeah.
If they were grooming her for it, it'll be great. But you
Cool.
better have groomed her for it.
Yeah.
And that might be what they're going for. Okay, we have talked so much hockey, gang.
Holy shit.
That's might be one of our longest episodes.
I don't
ever.
even know.
Lindsay,
I don't even know what I
congratulations.
was doing at 2.5 hours ago. Like, I don't know.
Listen, we've got Lindsay the prick Macy on. So
Yeah.
according to Taylor, that's so that there's that, and then this.
All right,
episode
give
150.
Aaron his nickname. Now do Aaron.
I don't have one for Aaron yet. We don't have.
Wow.
Aaron's obviously not the prick.
All
That,
right, I don't know
in fact,
what you want
before
to think of me.
in fact, before Lindsay came on, I was the prick. So
Yeah.
you've been replaced.
I've been dethroned as as king prick. So okay, yeah. Everybody, we appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining us on this big 150th episode. Boy, it feels like it doesn't even feel like it's episode 150, but here we are, big milestone. Even bigger one. We'll have to be drinking some rum in the next one for episode 151. That'll be a good time. All right, everybody, follow us on social media, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Spotify. All of us, you can find us. You know where podcasts are. You can find us. It's all good.
Come follow me around the block.
Absolutely. like Taylor walking the corner. Follow him around. Okay. Bye, everyone. Goodbye.